Correct. Third string.
I'd like to see the Eagles' defensive front get a couple sacks today. Why
think
not?
they will.
We need to get some.
Well, the Jets are also playing with offensive linemen who have zero experience. So it's a no-brainer that we should be able to get home.
All right, ready for this?
What's Hunter's last name?
Is this Jets team
Hunter
an
Brody?
equivalent of a Division I
Hunter Brody.
team in college, Division II or Division III?
No, I mean it's not to that level. But if you're going to compare it, yeah, it's a drop-off compared to the NFL. We're essentially going up against another type of Miami Dolphins. A little better maybe than the Dolphins, but maybe not. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit.
They've got to do their work today because we've established this. The next 3 weeks is it's not an easy task. They got to go on the road, Minnesota, Dallas, and Buffalo. I like to see this offense really click on all cylinders. I like to see the defense get a couple sacks. I like to see the secondary maybe get a pick, even though it's against a third-string quarterback. Get a little confidence, Hunter.
It's possible. I wonder how Craig James is going to play. Did we find another LeBlanc, or was that just a?
I think I'm going to pick the Eagles.
The Schweimer.
Rubbing your books up on here. Your Sizzling Dragons box set. Whatever the hell that is.
That covers.
Yeah.
Just about.
I'm okay with that.
Sounds like a slot machine.
We'll go with,
Sizzling Dragons. Doesn't it sound like a slot machine?
34, 35, 10. Can we do that?
35 to 10.
Can we do that?
All right, looks like
Something in that range.
Looks like we're all in agreement. Looks like we're all in agreement.
Yeah, I want to see 30 points. You talk about the offense clicking. I want to see over 30 points.
Hello?
I'd be underwhelmed if not.
Either that or it
Where's the
sounds like
headset?
porn.
Can you turn me down my headset down a little?
Turn you down. Which one is he in? He's in 2?
Right now with this team.
Well, it's the air cue that's really
so
blowing my
you're in
brains
3.
out.
Obviously, we're concerned about
Is that you, Tony?
Yes.
Bills Titans.
Part of the game, but just
one thing that's big is
that's going to really hurt
talk about running the ball.
The Packers are going to lose in Dallas
tonight.
tonight.
Play action to Jordan Howard after he runs the ball 5 times, and you have Deshaun
Packers
Jackson
are going to lose to the Cowboys.
Big foul.
No Devontae Adams.
Huge foul from Luigi last night on
Now,
Twitter,
Matt
by the way.
Collins has had success being a deep
What do you mean?
once in
I
a
follow
blue
back.
moon
You
kind
follow
of
me
thing.
last time.
Do you follow?
I
I felt
that. I
blessed.
also wonder
You
if
following
we'll see
me?
J.J.
Of
Arcega-Whiteside
Is
today.
anybody else hearing a
Gets
buzz?
blown open
Like
because he needs some more reps.
we all look. I'm looking at the 30 to 13.
Is anybody else hearing a...
Let's go first. All right, stay tuned for Tony Bruno and the countdown to kickoff. They're live at Toll Man Joe's in Philadelphia.
I can't hear you.
Go on the way. Make sure you stop in at Toll Man Joe's and say hello to Tony Bruno down there. Colin Thompson's down there. All right, they have a great pregame show lined up. Toll Man Joe's. Tony
That's really
Bruno.
still though, man.
See, I'm hearing it. There's like a distortion.
Monday night, that was a lot of fun. Tony Bruno doesn't know how old I am.
I only hear the house, but I don't hear Luigi.
Yeah, I'm
I want to thank
definitely
Hunter
hearing a
Brody for
distortion
doing a
too.
great job.
Wow,
Thank
there it
Marcus
is.
Thomas for being our mystery guest. Ken Dunnick, the Jersey Man Magazine, Johnny DiMaria. Let's go, Philadelphia Eagles. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday because nothing could be finer than talking
the distortion's
sports with
gone,
the
so
Schweiner.
whatever
Let's
that
go,
was.
Birds.
The Schweimer.
I'm not hearing him at all.
There are a lot of places in town to buy a car, SUV, or motorcycle. Why should you buy from Goodwill's quality
what's
used
up?
cars?
Hunter, how
They
you
have
doing?
Yo.
over 30 years
Good,
solid
how are you guys?
reputation with honesty
Beautiful,
and
man.
integrity.
I'm
Beautiful.
Do we have anyone to call in the first segment? Am I calling McMullen?
No, he comes in after
Some
the
ask
first
how we've been in
break.
business for 30
Okay, cool.
years.
Just want to verify.
It's easy. Service and price.
Goodwills, 8 North Delsey Drive in Glassboro. Visit goodwillsonline.com.
Don't turn me up yet.
Chickies and
house
Pete's,
is too
your favorite local sports bar
We don't
with
need
the
the
best
house to be
in-game
that loud.
experience. Catch all the action
Nothing.
and the players.
I hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Now I can hear me.
Yeah.
Now okay, there you go. You can hear this now. Okay.
Okay, well, why can't we hear him on the wireless?
We can now.
No,
Oh, no,
I'm,
we
on,
can't.
I'm
That's
on this
right.
one right here.
Okay.
Signature menu items.
You can hear, you can hear in the headphones, but I can't, on that microphone, nothing's coming out of it.
Of the Touchdown Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Head to chickiesandpete's.com for the full schedule.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Do you love food? Do you love shellfish?
Yes.
Then you'll love Chicky and Pete's. The best mussels you'll ever have, guaranteed. An assortment of the freshest crabs, seasoned the Chicky and Pete's way. And things you can't get anywhere else. Lobster pizza, crab
Chickies took a
nachos,
huge
and
hit
our
by
famous
Xfinity
That doesn't
lobster
make
cheese
any
slice.
sense
Xfinity Lives
that we
taking so much
can't.
business from them.
Huge.
Well, you know what else is going to hurt them when they open that casino
I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. And remember,
When they
it's a
open
lot
that
more
casino,
fun to eat in a bar
It's the It's only coming out of the speaker. It's not coming in here.
Yeah, you're coming over the house, but you're not coming through the headsets.
Most folks know that reliable.
Whatever you just did is now completely distorted.
And helps save energy and money. But did you know that natural gas doesn't rely on tanks or deliveries? It's always there when you need it. Like your friendly South Jersey gas station.
Nope, that's only on the house.
Let's get the conversation started and give us a call at 1-800-757-9276 or visit southjersey.com now.
Hi, I'm Julina Cordasco.
And I'm RJ Hall. We are a part of Holy Spirit High School's student government, and we want to invite you
It's
to
blinking.
our
Does that mean the
open house
battery's dead?
October 10th at 6 p.m. at Holy Spirit in Absecon.
Holy Spirit offers competitive athletics.
That means the battery's dead, right?
Art programs and a well-rounded education founded in Christian values. Join us for Holy Spirit's open house October 10th at 6
30
p.m.
seconds
Holy
until
Spirit
the
High
top of the
School,
hour.
Where you want to be.
Should that be in line or mine?
Starting route now. Turn right at Fortress Mountain. Turn left at Mount Hood. Head south to Moab, Utah. Continue on the Great North American Test Drive.
Run with us on a John Deere Gator XUV 835.
What do you want me to do?
With our quietest cab ever and optional heat and AC. And a
Yeah, we can't use the wireless right now.
Hunter, do you have the countdown?
Somebody's been stepping on my
So the
trail.
countdown rolls
No,
and then what?
not from.
Somebody did because my camera's frozen.
I'm not on your
Is there a
cable.
music lead or anything? The open?
WENJ, WENJ-HD.
Yeah, we should always run the countdown clock before the open, so Gil needs to build that into the set.
All right, do me a favor now, turn the air cue up,
Because he
please,
pre-programs the open.
in the headset.
So just make a note of it for next week.
The station, yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't really hear the station in my headsets now.
Who's back there, Hunter?
Yes.
What's up, Hunter?
I hear things screaming. It's loud.
You have to turn your sound.
Minnesota's offense.
Can we turn
it down, please? Lewis Riddick.
Mike Zimmer doesn't really want
Thank
to
you.
throw the football
Thank
that
you.
much, first and foremost. If you look at Kirk Cousins'
I didn't touch
pass
that.
attempts, I think he's 25th in the NFL in terms of passing attempts. So
That
right
may have
now,
been
when
me,
you
Rob,
pay
and I'm
two
walking
wide
back and
receivers the
forth.
way that Diggs and Thielen are paid, then you're in the bottom quarter of the league in terms of how often you're throwing the football, and your rush percentage.
You got to be
is
careful with the
50%,
house,
which
though,
is
man.
number 2 in the NFL.
The house is really loud, right?
Yeah.
On the injury front, Chargers receiver Mike Williams
Yeah, we don't need the house
play
on.
against the Broncos. Chiefs receiver
All right,
Sammy
it was. I
Watkins
hear.
expected to play in
What
the
do I
Sunday
hear?
night game.
Hello, testing. Yeah, the house is on.
The house was on. It was
Still
soft now,
is.
though.
Marlon Mack will likely play. Another encourajing sign for Drew Brees that he could beat
saying,
the
keep that
projected
speaker-
recovery
we don't even need it
timetable of
right for
6
the
to 8
open.
weeks. On Instagram,
Yeah.
the Saints quarterback posted
Too close
video
to
of
the
him
set.
throwing a smaller size football less than 3 weeks after thumb surgery on his right hand. Coming
There
up
was
on
some,
ESPN
Thursday
Radio.
I just don't
night,
understand what's going with the wireless.
There was a ton of
though.
playback.
NLDS,
I could hear
Braves,
myself
Cardinals,
calling in,
3:30 Eastern, Nationals,
and the
Dodgers,
echo
7
through.
Eastern, both series tied
Yeah, that's the
1-1.
state.
Denny Hamlin's
That's a
on the
correction
pole
that
for
needs to
today's
be made
NASCAR
back
race
there.
at Dover
As I was talking
as the
here,
second
you know,
round of the
You can hear
playoffs
yourself
begin.
coming back through
Like at
from
the late.
speaker,
Hey,
or-
Scott, join us Monday. We'll have the funniest
I could. I was on the phone, and I would hear myself play back through.
That is Monday.
I think it was
on
from
the Dan Le Batard Show with
on-set
Mr. Gotts on
speaker.
ESPN
It
Radio.
was like a delay by a second. I'll explain to you when you go to break.
Yeah,
I need the air up. I need the air cue up just a hair.
I need to know that. So I
We've
can
got the Philly sports
figure out
teams
how to
covered
correct
like
that.
nobody
Nick, can you bring the
else.
air
I can't
cue
hear
up
you
to
now.
my headset?
Nick, nobody can hear me. I'm on one.
Yeah, his mic's not on.
ESPN.com.
I'm on mic 1.
There you are. All right, can you bring air cue up in my headset? A little bit more.
This is Countdown to
Little bit more.
Kickoff on ESPN
I'm not hearing it.
Radio
It's not
and
going
on
up.
the ESPN app.
Is that my mic?
Yeah, no one's
You need to go up. Yours has to go down. You're turning his up.
Nick, 1, 2, 3. Why are we
There
in
you go.
the
That's mine
ESPN? Why are we here in the
Now that's too
ESPN
loud.
countdown?
It is a transition week for some of the biggest teams.
Stand by.
It's countdown to kickoff on ESPN Radio, the
Yeah.
ESPN app.
The board is
presented by
firing
Progressive
on itself
Insurance.
where it's
I'm
playing
Matt
your stuff.
Jones. Joining me
Okay,
as always,
we're here in the
Schwartz,
network
former
right now.
NFL offensive
So am
lineman,
I.
and Myron Metcalf, the man
Should I call
who
Gil?
breaks down all
Yeah, you're gonna
the
have to
stories in the
because-
NFL and across college hoops. Guys, are you excited for what I think is the
Like
week
your
that we
opening
start to
stuff
find
didn't
out which
automatically
teams are
play
for
like it
real?
normally
No.
Which teams
Yeah,
are
get
just
Gil on the horn.
Calling him now.
I'm pumped for it. I mean, I think obviously Cowboys versus the Packers is a big game. But yeah, I think there are a lot of questions that will get answered here in Week 5.
There's 13 teams entering the weekend at 2-2. So there's a lot of hope around the NFL.
Jeff
We'll find out
Schwartz.
today whether the hope is real for a lot of these teams or whether it's more hype for a lot of these teams. So that's what I'm looking forward to today. I know Packers-Cowboys is big, and we'll discuss that plenty, but there's a lot of teams that, and I remember as a former player, that feeling of, okay, guys, if we win a couple of these games now, we're really back in this thing. And there's a lot of teams today feeling that way right now.
Tone,
Guys,
what's your pick
we
for
did
tomorrow
this win
night?
Today. We're
I haven't
3-2.
even looked at the game
We're
yet.
feeling
Browns,
good.
Niners. That's a
And
tough one.
Now our season is a lot, the outlook is a lot
Is
a lot sunnier than if we lose
San
today.
Fran.
It's like, maybe we're really not as good as we think we are.
You know, the thing
This
about
is not my stat of the day, but the 13 teams at 2-2, the most teams ever in the history of the league at 2-2.
Test 1
after
2
4
2
weeks.
2.
So it is. It
2
does
2.
feel like a week where you've got these handful of teams in the league that are really good. You got a handful that are really awful, and maybe there's this whole amalgam of teams that really are
Yes.
play here
Gil
or
is gonna
there
call you
from
right
being
now.
really good or really bad.
how is it
Today
that the
we'll
network airs and
decide
we don't
which
have
is which.
control in the
It's time for
studio
Straight
to
Talk,
go to
brought
us?
you by Straight Talk Wireless, the biggest game of the day.
Hunter, how is it that you
Myron
can't dump the network and
It's
put
the
this
Packers
on?
and the Cowboys.
I think
Cowboys
I
coming in
can.
a
I'm
3.5
just
point
verifying because I'm
favorite
new to the board.
in
Oh, okay.
Dallas after the disappointing loss last week to New Orleans. The Packers are 3-1, but I don't know that I necessarily think they are quite on the same level as the other teams that are 3-1 at this point. Myron, I feel like you're a Cowboys guy. You like the Cowboys. I feel like if they are the team that we hoped, you can excuse losing in New Orleans, but this is one you got to pick up at home if you're wanting to do what the Cowboys are hoping for.
Yeah, I think without Devontae Adams coming in
You
for
are
the
looking
Packers,
live.
that's a big loss for them. I think you have to win this game if you are a Super Bowl team. I mean, Dak has obviously been really good this year. He wasn't great at New Orleans last weekend, and I think this is a team where you go, okay, Zeke struggled as well against the Saints. Is this a team that can get that consistency that they're going to need to win throughout this league and get into the playoffs and maybe make a run? I just think Aaron Rodgers is in a difficult spot without Devontae Adams. We saw what happened against the Eagles.
No answer
Two
from Josh, but I
opportunities
think I can
within the
try
5-yard
something. I just
line.
don't
They
wanna
couldn't
be wrong and
score.
screw anything
And
up.
those
Test
possessions were both
test
without
1 2
Devontae
2
Adams.
2
So
2 2.
who are the Packers? And you look at a team that gives up more than 140 rushing yards per game. Zeke
Talk
trying
into
to
it.
have a bounce back. So this feels like
Audio check test 1 2 1 2 3 4 5.
Yeah, now I hear it.
Wireless
Now I hear
test
it.
1 2.
Yep.
I think I can
Now I got to go set back up.
press some buttons.
Well,
but I do
I'm
not
saying
have
with you.
very-
They're trying to reach the engineer right now, so we're in limbo for a start. Stand by.
I want the creativity back in the offense. We saw the first 3 weeks of the year. They were very creative, right? They play action pass, they RPO'd, they used Dak's legs. They opened the playbook up, and then it felt like last weekend on Sunday night was the old offense, was the Scott Linehan.
Yeah, I saw that
offense,
up
the
there.
boring offense. I want some of the new offense back, right? The play action totals dropped drastically from week 3 to week 4. Now, the offensive line, who I love, and a lot of people around the NFL love their offense.
Yeah, Hunter.
They didn't play
I
very
think
well.
I can find a way to pot down the national feed,
New
even though
Orleans
it
is
says to leave this
tough to
up.
play
I
in.
can pot that
Really
down
good
and get you
defensive
guys
line as
on
well.
right now.
Yeah,
let's do that.
But before you do that, are we going to have commercials? Are we going to have the open? Are we going to have the break? Are we going to have the intangibles that go into the show? And are we going to be able to take callers?
And I feel like they're going to
so
come
if I
today
start us right now,
and
the top of the
play
hour
a
opening
lot
will
better,
play, but
and
it'll be 12.
there's going to be kind of a battle in the line of scrimmage for who can control that, especially with Dallas has the ball.
Right, which is
And
fine.
Just go to break at 10,
and Myron, to your
14,
point
unless you just
about
want to wait till
Rodgers
10,
and this
14 to
offense.
start.
Well, I'm okay. I'm okay cutting out soon to get us back on track. I just want to make sure that when we're back on track, all of we can get John McMullen at the stadium. We can get Doc at the bottom of the hour. We can do all of that.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm just potting down
against the Eagles now, which is
I have
10
Josh
days
verify
ago.
what's going on.
So those are things
Played
I'm
around
looking
with this,
forward
and obviously
to.
it didn't work,
Matt, what
but
are
I'm
you looking
adjusting
forward
on
to
the
with
fly
this
here.
matchup?
There should be no issue.
You mentioned
Okay, well then we'll take it off. We're going to come off the open, scrap the countdown clock, and just come into the open, and then Tony will pick it up from there. And ideally, I would like to go to the break at the scheduled break so we can get back on track.
Okay, I'm just adjusting on the fly here for you guys. That's all. So.
All right, yeah, no, I get it. And I talked to Gil. He said he was trying to reach the engineer to figure out what was going on.
Okay, I'm going to give it a shot right here in about 2 seconds.
Drop some kind of a music bed so it's not a hard, abrupt break.
Fitzpatrick and Blake Bortles.
You got it.
That's it. The only 2 quarterbacks who've done worse against winning teams, Ryan Fitzpatrick and Blake Bortles. And in the NFL Next Generation Stats, Myron, that measures, all these things.
It's probably going to be a short open segment, Tony.
Yeah, I know.
Just to get it, I'd rather get us back on track. Than,
yeah, absolutely.
Than
classifies a tight window. Had the best completion.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the 76ers. WEMJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. It's Eagles game day and time for the countdown to kickoff show. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! With Mr. Philadelphia, Tony Bruno.
All right, listen to the crowd. Yeah, they've been waiting to see this.
Live on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Yes, yeah, we got you.
Stacked up for a loss.
From Tolman Joe's, 26
Nice
East
work, Hunter.
Oregon Avenue in the heart of South Philly. Presented by IBEW
Exactly.
Local 98. Powered by Martin Law and fueled by the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union.
He is hit. He stumbles. He's down. And the Eagles take over.
Now, it's Eagles game day and time for the countdown to kickoff show with Tony Bruno.
Let's see. Does this work out? Wow. I knew we should have tested that stupid board. Good morning, everybody. Hello. I want to make sure everybody's awake. Are you awake? I think the entire South Philadelphia community is awake. The people down there at the St. Nick's Festival are waking up now.
If there was anybody left in the world that wasn't woke, they are now.
They're woke. This show's totally woke.
Stay woke.
We are live here at Toll Man Joe's in South Philadelphia. Eagles game day, getting ready for the thrill, the color, the pageantry, the electricity that is uniquely Eagles and Jets, Jets. Tony Bruno, Colin Thompson's here. Luigi Curto's here.
The great.
Nick's here. Miss Robin's here. Joe Krause's here. You know who else is going to be here? John McMullen at the stadium, live at Lincoln Financial Field. We'll throw it over to him to see what's going on. Steve Merrill will have the odds later. Philly's biggest fan will stop by, the great Johnny Doc. So we got a lot of stuff, and we got to break this week down. In fact, if you look at the schedule, other than the Eagles, it's a pretty bad week, Colin. There's not a lot of juice on the schedule today.
Well, the 4 o'clock game will be good.
Well, yeah.
Packers, Cowboys.
Well,
that'll be fun, entertaining.
The problem with that game, as a non-Dallas Cowboy fan, is that the Green Bay Packers, obviously going into Dallas without Davante Adams, who single-handedly destroyed the Eagles, who won that game, fortunately, in Green Bay. And now the Cowboys get a break because the Packers are going in there wounded, so to speak. Davante Adams, what he did to the Eagles. But let's worry about that game later. Let's get down to the business, man, because we got a lot of stuff to get to. We want to thank everybody. Come on by. Toll Man Joe's will be here till noon, and then we'll kick it right over to Merrill Reese with the Eagles official pregame show, live at the link. And the thing about this game, it doesn't have the same feeling as the Detroit game. Remember, before the Detroit game, their last home game, there were people wondering, I don't know about this Eagles team, man, coming off the Atlanta loss. You remember, everybody's like, there wasn't a lot of juice in the air because they lost to the Falcons on that Sunday night game. Now, while there isn't a lot of juice in the air for this Jets game, the thing is, if the Eagles don't beat this team easily, or at least convincingly, there will be a lot of people wondering again. Is that not the sense you're getting on this Sunday morning?
No question. I think the difference between them is the quarterback play, right? Matt Stafford, we know what he could bring with those receivers, with Galladay and the tight end, the rookie Hockenson and Jesse James. They had a threat, right, in Johnson and running back, and an offense in an NFC North that's unknown, but now is known as probably the best division
2 minutes
in football. So with this situation, they're on the third-string quarterback. Sam Darnold's out for the game. We saw what New England did to them last week. New
England played horribly.
Yes. So it's a different feel, and I hope the Eagles have learned from the Detroit game, which I think they have, and hopefully they stick with the formula that they created for themselves last Thursday, I should say, which was running the football, stopping the run. And again, there's no legitimate threat at quarterback like Aaron Rodgers or like a Matt Stafford where, hey, we're going to stop the run, but throwing-wise, there's an issue. So hopefully the Eagles get after the quarterback today, create some turnovers, and get some confidence back on this defensive side of the football. That last week, Davante Adams shredded them on.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the key, and we'll break it down. I got so many stats here, Colin, as you well know. I got everything that you'll need to get ready for this game.
Copious notes.
Reasons why the Jets should lose this game by more than double digits. At least 2 scores, maybe more.
The main reason is a guy named Luke Falk
Well,
under center for the Jets.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got him. Really, they're thin in a lot
Yes,
of positions. Yes,
exactly.
I mean, he's not set up to succeed as much as some others.
Exactly right. So we're just getting started. Johnny Doc going to join. John McMullen's going to join us, right, Joe Krause?
He'll be in after the opening break. He's already nestled into the comfortable chair that he enjoys at all home games at the Link. So we'll check in with John McMullen. It is a 97-3 takeover at Tolman Joe's. It's free parking here, Tony.
Exactly.
We're a mile from the stadium.
You're going to pay $50
Here's
to go park?
$50. It's free parking at Tolman Joe's. Come out and see us, enjoy the show, and then get over to the game. Lots of good stuff coming up over the next 2 hours.
And we're coming back live. A lot to get to. The Eagles offense, the Eagles defense, the Jets offense, the Jets defense, the Jets defense, no Jets offense. That's pretty much the wrap-up. But we're just getting started. We're live at Tolman Joe's here in South Philly, right on Oregon Avenue. Come on down, have some fun. It's game day, baby. Live on 97.3 ESPN and on twitch.tv, BrunoNation Live.
Okay.
We're back.
Hour number 1 of the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff
Luigi,
show is
run
fueled by
across the
Dunkin'.
street and get the
After
double
the
A's,
Eagles
dude.
win, you win with Dunkin'.
This
Buy the
is the
pizza.
radio home of Philadelphia Eagles football. Today,
Where you going, to the
2
gas
and 2
station?
Eagles
Yeah, right across
host
the street. I need double A
Jets at the
batteries.
Link.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
We have Mick Mullen, we have the
Maryland Mike
Eagles Jets
call all
history
the action
audio,
starting
and then we
at
have a
1
music bed.
p.m.
Okay.
This
Right, so
is the
McMullen is
home
what?
of
What's
Philadelphia
McMullen?
Eagles
Oh, I thought you just said that
football.
right now. You said at the end of this break.
Yeah, no, we're going to bring him in. But before we bring him in, I want to run the Eagles-Jets audio.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I just said it out of order.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah, I
we
got
have
you.
Eagle-Jets audio.
Yeah, that's going to be 1993 Eric Allen with a pick 6.
Okay.
What game in the 10-game history with the Jets is that?
Monday Night Football.
I don't know. I just Googled it on YouTube. And it was the first one to pop up.
I love it.
So Eric Allen with a pick 6?
Yeah, 1993 epic comeback.
I love it. This is a good example of every week, Hunter. I want to go back in time. I don't want to run unless it's Freddie Mitchell on 4th and 26. I don't want to run a recent memory. I like running old memories in line with the NFL, celebrating 100 years.
Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20
and then after
years
that
and
is what?
specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors.
Music bed, and then John McMullen is at the stadium, right?
215-429-2451. 215-429-2451. Kristen Thompson, your real estate advocate, who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions. Like company pages where you can get people excited about working for you. And we give
really
you this
loud.
toy monkey to make it symbols when the right resume appears.
No answer from McMullen.
There is no monkey.
You have his text, you have his number?
there is no
Yeah, I caught him twice.
But company pages, for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other
Is that
job
right, or
site.
is that still sounds distorted, doesn't it?
No, it sounds good on my end.
No, it sounds distorted to me.
Really?
We're a lot like
I just texted him, so stand by for that.
I wonder if the headset's up too high.
That's why any
that
armed
headset?
forces and
there's
veterans can join
something-
us and receive the benefits of Navy federal membership.
Yeah, no, it's
Then,
sounding
once
okay
you're a
to me.
member, anyone
Although,
in your immediate family can become a member too. And just like a family,
that
our
was a
members
drop
are
and a half
members
there.
for life.
That's why I was thinking, oh man, do I play it? We didn't test it.
We didn't test
That's
it.
the mistake I made. We didn't test it, and then because I hit it earlier.
I just texted McMullen, so be on the lookout.
Don't miss Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. Take an extra 20%
You know what,
off.
Tony? We
Save on
did.
men's and women's
No, we
Sonoma
did.
Goods for
Yeah,
Life denim.
eat the baby,
9
eat
West
the
shoes and
baby
boots.
Oh yeah,
Big
so I
ones
don't know what
roll.
happened.
It's just
That's right. We have to eat the
Plus,
babies
take an extra
earlier.
$20 off your $100
We have
purchase.
McMullen now.
Plus,
All right, so
Kohl's
McMullen
Cash
is
right
there.
now at
Johnny
Kohl's.
Mac.
Select styles. Offers valid October 2nd through 6th. 20% friends and family with promo code SHOPFAMILY. $20 off $100 with
There's
promo
a
code
great
bonus
game.
20. Some
Panthers,
exclusions apply.
Jacksonville.
See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Nature Valley brings that satisfying crunch.
Did you get a
that
receipt?
gets your family going again. With real delicious honey and whole grain oats. So get out here. Nature Valley Oats and
No,
Honey
thank you.
Crunchy Bars.
Thank you, sir.
The original crunch.
And then let's put the extras somewhere where we know where they are.
Countdown to Kickoff show. Get to Tolman Joe's and register for your
5.
authentic Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey. Presented by Martin Law, the law
It's
firm
the simple
for injured
shit.
workers.
I mean, we're running around worrying about AA batteries.
Whoops, I played the other one.
Richie's second touchdown receiving this year.
That's all right. I'm a Donovan McNabb. I love the McNabb
The
era.
Eagles back on top.
Oh, wait. Should have won it.
Eagles Game Day Live.
You are
Countdown to kickoff. You are looking live. Tollman Joe's in South Philadelphia on a overcast Sunday. There may be a little rain later on, they're saying. Looks like rain, feels like rain. Colin Thompson's here. We're going to have John McMullen in a moment. Now, he's not ready, right, is he?
He'll be ready to go in about 45 seconds.
Oh, he is ready.
Is he? Well, before you go to John, Tone,
yes.
I have to re-emphasize to anyone driving up to the game today, if you're coming up and you're about to cross the bridge, Tollman Joe's, 26 East Oregon Avenue. It's right off of Packer. It's a mile from the stadium. Here's $50. It's
You're
free
saving $50
parking.
just to come here.
It's unbelievable.
And the kind of entertainment you get, you're not getting this in the parking lot.
And by the way,
there's fights in the parking lot.
There's
It's
no fights
dangerous. It's dangerous in the parking lot. Stay out of the lots. Stay out of the lots,
and you're
ladies
not
and gentlemen.
squeezing into 12 spots out front. The lot will hold 100 spots out there on both sides of the building. So
I may have Luigi go out there and collect, $2 to park. And then we'll tip the waitresses and stuff and make sure everybody gets taken care of on the way out. No, it's free to park here at Tollman Joe's. The food's great. If you don't have tickets to the game, even if you do, you come here first, then you go over to the game, and then you come back afterwards, you get your car, you don't have to pay $50 to park. It's an outrage. You don't have to worry about parking in somebody's street, getting your car towed away by the PPA in this area. We're just looking out for you, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can enjoy Eagles-Jets coming up in a couple of hours at Lincoln Financial Field. Speaking of Lincoln Financial Field, let's go to a man, and the first question we always ask him on Sunday mornings when the Eagles are at home, Colin Thompson, what's the spread this morning for the media down there at the Link, John McMullen?
It's very consistent this year, Tony. It's not going to be exciting. Same thing for a 1 o'clock game. Just your scrambled eggs. No omelet bar. There used to be an omelet bar.
That's an outrage. Wait a minute. Jeffrey Lurie just pulled the omelet bar?
Pulled the omelet bar. We used to have a carving station for night games. That's no more.
Jeez, what is happening?
Everybody's cutting back, Tony.
That's an outrage.
Looks like the yoke's on you out there, John.
Oh, I mean, how about meats? Do you have like the choice of sausages and ham and bacon and
turkey sausage?
Turkey sausage.
You get sausage. You get
any
bacon.
vegan
you get
options?
all that stuff.
No vegan options. So the media does not want to eat vegan options. They want meat, meat and eggs and beef and potatoes. That's how we start a Sunday.
97% of us do.
Yeah.
You do. There is a little bit of a salad bar. Although I've never gone in that area.
Some cantaloupe.
Myself.
Yeah, that's an outrage. What the hell's Jeffrey Lurie thinking? This is supposed to be a Super Bowl year. You don't get rid of the omelet station. That's a bad omen for me. They may not cover the point spread
That was
today.
a couple years ago. It's been years. You don't know the stuff we have conquered and gotten through, John.
I remember when Leonard Toast used to put out, I remember covering the Eagles back in the old Veterans Stadium Leonard Toast days when he had lobster thermidor out for the media. Now we don't even have an omelet station?
No.
Ridiculous.
It is an outrage. That is a perfect description of it.
All right, now that we've got the breakfast situation straightened out. What's it look like out there? Overcast, obviously, and we all know that this game, the Eagles should walk over this team. Now, I know the Jets' defense is not as bad as people think it is, but the Jets, there's no way the Jets should come in here. Now I know if you give Adam Gase a bye week, you got to watch out. Adam Gase with Miami, I don't know if you saw this stat, John. Adam Gase, when he was with the Dolphins, was 5-0 coming off a bye week. So you give him 2 weeks to prepare. You concerned about Adam Gase and the Joe Douglas factor, the Jets GM, former Eagle executive?
Yeah, I'm certainly more concerned with Joe Douglas than Adam Gase. Hey, look, anytime I got a chance to face Adam Gase in a football game, I'll take it. That is not one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think this is a perfect example. Going into this week, essentially everybody I talked to in New York knew, whether it was cleared or not, Sam Darnold wasn't going to play because there's a conditioning aspect you also have to add into it from coming back from mononucleosis. So everybody knew he wasn't playing. And remember, Trevor Simeon's out for the year. He was the backup quarterback. He got hurt when he was forced in. You're down to Luke Falk, who's the third-string quarterback. So that's difficult enough. However, he didn't give him first-team reps on Wednesday and Thursday. He gave Darnold the first-team reps. And as I said, he knew better than us he wasn't going to play. So it's like you're not even preparing this poor guy, on top of the fact that it's a bad situation for any team in this league to go down to their third quarterback. He just does things in strange ways, I'll say that. So people worrying about a trap game, I would call this maybe a human nature game, because I think there's a chance the Eagles come out slowly because they see what we see, that this team has no weapons. They can't really hurt you in many different ways.
John, John, take us inside the locker room this week when the media went in on Wednesday. How was the team? What was the feel with Doug Peterson? And was there any quotes, any players, that gave maybe the Jets some bulletin board material that wasn't needed?
Well, no, I don't think so. This team is, one of the things, if you go back to the Green Bay game, I think there was a lot of panic, to be honest, from the fan base. You didn't see that from the team at all. They've been through a lot, and this is a veteran-laden team, especially when you talk about the leadership.
Yep.
Guys who've seen it all, done it all. So they know that human nature aspect of this game. They know the opponent. They know there's 3 games on the road coming up after this game. So they understand the Malcolm Jenkins, Jason Peters, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Jason Kelsey, all those type of players. They understand maybe some young players will take this for granted. And that's one of the strengths of this team, is getting everybody on the same page, compartmentalizing, and you got to take care of business first before you get to those 3 road games.
Talking with Eagles insider John McMullen live at Lincoln Financial Field, getting ready for Eagles-Jets. And you look at the numbers here, John, and I've broken it all down. The Jets have 1 offensive touchdown in 3 games. They've got 3 defensive touchdowns and a safety. And they're the first team in NFL history, I've got this all broken down, to have first team ever with 2 more defensive scores than offensive scores. So they don't score the ball in offense. Their defense is not that bad. They're a top 10 defense. And I guess to me, that's the only concern, is that the Jets defense, if they throw a monkey wrench into the Eagles' plan and the Eagles don't run the football and get a consistent rhythm against that defense, this could become a little dicey. And people are expecting 25-point, 30-point blowouts. I don't see that happening, because the Jets, as bad as they are, their defense is going to show up, I think.
Well, a lot of that has to do with, you're right, their defense typically is better than people realize. So they like the Eagles, have strangely had a real difficult time generating pressure and sack. But remember, C.J. Mosley is probably their best defensive player, is not going to be able to play.
Right.
So they have injuries on that side of the football as well. It's not as stout a unit as it typically would be when he is in there. I do think if they're going to make it a game, they're going to have to score on the defensive side of the football or special teams.
1 minute.
One or the 2. They're going to have to make up points because, as you mentioned, Tony, they can't score. And part of that has to do with not having your quarterback, and when you're down to a third-string quarterback. But Le'Veon Bell gets 52% of the touches. They are 2. You understand they only got 1 offensive player that can hurt you.
Yes, and they haven't even been running the ball well. 3.43 average yards per play, and that's not good. 500 passing yards. They have fewer than 500 total passing yards and 200 rushing yards after 3 games of the season. All the stats, we talk about how bad Miami is and how bad Washington is. The Jets offensively may be the worst team in football.
Yeah, that's true. Now, but be honest, though, if Sam Darnold has a high ceiling as a player, if he gets healthy, things will get better.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. Yeah, I'm talking about right now, John.
Yeah, right now they're down to the 3rd quarterback. And like I say, any NFL team down to their 3rd quarterback, they're going to be in deep you-know-what. Exactly. And that's where the Jets are.
That's where John McMullen is. Well, no, he's living the high life. He's at Lincoln Financial Field. He's comfortably no omelet station, so he's roughing it today, ladies and gentlemen.
The Eagles are worth how much money?
I know.
And you got to nip the press from omelets?
And the press has to pay for the meal. It used to be free.
I don't understand
what's happening in America. That's why we need Bernie Sanders to get free media meals.
Thank you, J-Mac. Appreciate it, brother.
John McMullen at the stadium. Tony Bruno, Colin Thompson. We are here. I'm hungry. You know what I need right now I can go for?
We need to eat the babies.
We need to eat the babies. No babies here to eat yet. Maybe for lunch. We're sticking around. We're live here at Toll Man Joe's in South Philly. Come on by. Say hi. Live. Countdown to kickoff on 97.3 FM and twitch.tv BrunoNation Live.
You're listening to the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff show presented by IBEW Local 98. John Doherty, business manager.
Coming up on the next
Honey, we should have Doc calling in
Robin
around
and I went to
34.
Melrose and I had the cream chip beef.
Is he calling me or am I calling
Tone, I knew that was coming. I knew you had to drop 80 babies.
I gave him the number. Do you have his
you see
number?
this, Tone?
I do have his number, yeah.
I gave the number to him, so if he's not there when we come back on, then you can call him. I'm going to text him when there's a minute
from 2 to 6
until we're back.
97.3 ESPN.
Okay, and then we're coming back to the Quaker City String Band.
Right, as the lead in.
Get to the Landmark Americana in the heart of Glassboro for what will be a great football experience, a great nightlife experience, or
so are we back on time and is everything working?
The Landmark Americana.
Yeah, Gil's actually here with me right now to take a look at everything, but it seems like everything's rolling fine now. It was just the top of the hour that something screwed up and didn't fire itself.
Okay, so everything, but from a timing standpoint, everything is back. Everything is on track.
You leave. Go to the
Yep,
Landmark
and we're verifying
Americana
that now.
in
So.
Glassboro
All right,
this
sounds
football
good.
season. Who knows who you'll see?
Tone, that's Steve Merle, not Philly Godfather.
Great success in the real estate
No, we'll have him in the second hour.
A proud graduate of
Steve Merle, yeah. Remember, we brought him in the first time. I never identified him.
What is his site?
His site is
directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group.
ProSportsinfo.com. He was a long-time contributor of the Countdown Show for the last 3 years
who will work
under the covers
on your
umbrella.
behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase
that's
is
why
the
he's-
easiest
So we got
part
Johnny
of the
Doc
process.
here.
Doc's coming in after the string band, yeah. He sent me a text. Doc, he said he's ready to talk. Prep, Temple, Penn State, Birds.
Oh, he's calling now.
All right, here so whatever. You take the lead, whatever one you want.
Homemade right on the premises at the
Did the Prep win?
Douglas Fudge Shop
Yeah,
on the
Prep beat up on
Wildwood
LaSalle, I
Road.
think.
Delicious Douglas candy.
No, did they play LaSalle last night? No, they crushed LaSalle last week. I don't know who they played last night.
I sat next to Gabe Infante on the Temple
Take
plane.
advantage of great Douglas specials. Buy 2 pounds
Yeah,
of
he
Douglas
got-
Douglas
he got a
Fudge,
couple of
get one
states
free.
championships
Or
at
buy
Prep.
2 pounds of
Yeah.
Douglas
He's a good
Original
coach.
Taffy,
He's gonna be-
get one free.
Yeah, he's gonna. He'll be a D1. He'll be a D1 head coach somewhere soon, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, that
now
would be
in
a
Stone
jump.
Harbor on
He's a running back
Facebook,
coach right now in
Twitter,
Temple.
and
It's his first year coaching college.
Right.
But he'll be an OC somewhere.
Right.
It depends what happens with the staff, right? If they do well.
Right.
So Steve Merrill's coming up at the last segment.
Last thing, just a
Johnny-
short hit. Yeah, we'll have Doc
miss
here.
Kohl's
And
Friends
if
and
Merle
Family
doesn't
Sale. Take an
confirm,
extra
then that's
20%
fine.
off.
I laid
Save
it
on
out
men's
to
and
him.
women's Sonoma goods for life denim.
Le'Veon
9
Bell.
months shoes and boots.
Harry
And
Carter
the big ones
targeted
row is just
51% of the
$14.39.
snaps.
Plus, take an extra $20
It's
off your
unbelievable they can't
$100
run. Well, they're
purchase.
Hey, we got Doc.
Plus, get
Okay,
Kohl's cash
Doc is
right
theirs.
now at Kohl's.
They're shuffling 2 new guys
Select
in.
styles.
30
Offers valid October
seconds.
2nd through 6th.
They
20%
lost
friends
2
and family
starters.
with promo code SHOP-FAMILY.
Coleccio
$20 off
Semple, who's one of the
$100
best
with
guards
promo
in
code
football,
bonus
he's
20.
out.
Some exclusions apply.
Please,
See
Wenstat.
store.com for
This is my
details.
favorite Wenstat. We got
A new law helps survivors of childhood sexual abuse take
11
legal
points in
action.
12 quarters.
Jeff Anderson and Associates and
The
attorney
Jets
Greg
for the offense for the
Gianfrancaro can
Jets.
help. Visit itstimenewjersey.com
Jay
or
said he
call
wants to spread the ball
confidentially
around. I was
today
watching his press
1-800
conference.
It's Time.
Say 11 points,
80
12
South Main
quarters.
Street,
11
Phillipsburg, New
points, 12
Jersey.
quarters.
Not great, but terrible.
08865.
You're listening
Not
to the
great.
Eagles Game
All right, here we
Day
go, boys.
Countdown to Kickoff show. Get to Tolman Joe's and register for your authentic Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey. Presented by Martin Law, the law firm for injured workers.
See, now I have to get into my, I have to do my mum or strat, even though it's early and I haven't had breakfast yet or anything. Just had a little biscotti this morning. They're setting up here in South Philly. My old parish here, St. Nick's, the big St. Nick's Festival. Have you been down to the St. Nick's Festival?
It's one thing I have not done.
I know who has. The great Johnny Doc, Philadelphia's biggest fan. John, you've been to the St. Nick Festival, haven't you? Johnny Doc there?
And John's phone, just like a tradition unlike any other, is not working correctly today.
John?
You are looking live.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Are you down setting up at the St. Nick's Festival?
Yeah, we always volunteer down there, whatever they need.
Beautiful,
There's
man.
that great food there.
Man of the people.
Yes, he is a man of the people. He is Philly's biggest fan, and he's excited on a Sunday morning. We haven't been home for a couple of weeks. We're home, and then we're going to go away for a couple of weeks. And I mean, when I say we, I mean the team. This last home game, then 3 straight on the road, John. The Jets today, we all feel the same way, just like the Detroit game, except I think more people realize that the Eagles are not as bad as they looked against Detroit, because let's remember, we didn't know Detroit was decent. And now we've seen the Detroit Lions now over 4 games, and they're not as bad as some people thought they should be. But the Jets right now, we all can agree, they are as bad as they look because of injuries, the third-string quarterback. So how are you feeling about this game right now?
Yeah, we just play football and we win this game easy. I mean, they got 2 good players. Like Kid Adams is a hitter, and he'll probably be spending all day traveling around Zach Ertz. So we just use the other tight end. Let's run some points up early, blow this thing out of you. People are crazy again. I'm in town now. I'm in tackling boxes on the corner. It's crazy out here already.
It is an outrage, but here's the thing. Before we get to the Eagles and your breakdown and your prediction, the Prep and Penn State and Temple. We tried to warn people on Thursday night that the Temple Owls, it was too many points. They won the game, but they went to Buffalo big favorites, 13.5-point favorites. They went down to ECU, a tough place to play, and they win the game, but they don't cover the number. And let's be honest.
One of the worst bad beats ever.
That is a bad beat. Yes,
that is
indeed.
A bad beat.
Bad beat indeed. John, what about your Prep?
I love the Prep could beat Maryland right now.
I love it.
And, I'll tell you, it's a great program. I stop up every now and then up on 10th Street, up at 10th and Cecil B. Moore. I was watching them during the summer. Man, they're just well coached. The kids are great kids. It's not like they just recruit. Them kids, they all go to college. They all do well. It's a great school. A great alumni, and I'll tell you, a great football program.
Yeah, I sat next.
Through the Catholic League, you know that. Like every game, they're going to win by 30 points. It's just a shame we can't get another 1 or 2 real competitive games. They play all the early games. They play that IMG. If they play IMG at the end of the year, they beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. They're a great team and great, well-coached team. And it started with Gabe Infante, who's now at Temple, and I had the pleasure to sit next to him on the way down to call the game. For the Owls. Gabe's a great guy and just did a nice job. He's a rocket ship in the coaching role. But we'll get into the Eagles, Doc. Do you think the Eagles today are going to stick to running the football they did against the Packers? It's a formula that hasn't been used much, but was super successful. Do you think they're going to give a healthy dose of Miles Sanders, the offensive line, and Jordan Howard?
Absolutely, they got to do. I told you, the 1 or 2 players that can actually play for the Jets are in the defensive backfield. And I just think they just keep running the ball and short, swing passes, and before you know it, it's 21-3, and then we just keep pounding it.
Talking with the great Johnny Doc. So a prediction, John. I need a prediction now. Are they going to cover the 13.5 points?
Yeah, I think this is the one we talked, Tony, last week about them getting close to 40. I think this is the one where they might run the score up big. This is like a 38-10 game. They cover. And there's no bad beats on this one. I'm telling you, this is all good money.
No backdoor cover? This is in the Detroit game. What was the backdoor cover this year?
I got to check the tape, Tony. I think Doc had the Eagles-Packers game when they went into Lambeau. I think Doc picked big numbers or a big score in that game,
the
right?
The Redskin game was the backdoor cover. Game. Remember that? The Redskin game. Washington scores a garbage touchdown, and then they get the backdoor cover. But the Eagles won, and that's all that matters. Unless you are Mr. Thursday Night, yes. Or unless you're a degenerate like Luigi, yes.
Hey, I'll give you one. I think Ohio State might be the best team in the country. I'm telling you, Penn State's going to go in there the end of November and beat Ohio State in Ohio.
Wow, in the horseshoe?
Smoked. Ohio State's going to be favored by 10.
My early insane pick.
I like it.
I love it.
At least you recognize your insanity.
Exactly right.
Like the rest of the Penn
No
State
doubt
fans.
about it. I live in that world.
I was rooting for my Iowa Hawkeyes the other day, but they that was a low-scoring game, that Iowa game against Michigan.
Just like they like it.
But Michigan needed to win that game. Iowa, no, they weren't going anywhere. But how about Stanford late last night while everybody was sleeping? Stanford beats Washington. Yeah, I was up at 1 o'clock in the morning watching baseball and Pac-12 football. That's what's wrong with me. It's ridiculous. We'd like to thank the Washington Huskies.
Great baseball time.
Absolutely. How about that Garrett Cole last night for your Houston Astros, man?
Look, how about him at the front of the Phillies rotation next year?
Yeah, he's going to get paid big time.
In the 8th inning, after 120 pitches, on a 3-2 count, his last batter, he throws 100 miles an hour just right outside the flat.
It was incredible. I mean, that was one of the most dominant postseason performances, and I've seen a lot of them over my years. That had to be one of the most dominant performances by a pitcher in a playoff game where your team goes up 2-0 and they're the favorite to win the World Series. And so can we just fast forward to the Yankees and the Houston Astros in the World Series before it gets too cold outside? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great game there, man. There's a lot of pounding there.
Beautiful. We love pounding.
Astros beat them. Too much pitching there.
Exactly right.
They're loaded.
Johnny Doc, what's the final score did you give? I got to write it down because we keep track of this stuff.
38-10, was that what it was?
38-10. And keep an eye on the Flyers this year, too. I think they're going to play good hockey.
Oh, a rocket
ship. Luigi didn't wear his Flyers jersey today.
For good reason. I love to hear that, Doc. Made my day.
Tough division, but I think they're going to play well. A lot of good young talent.
Yeah, everyone's improved in that division. I completely agree. But, no, you're right. It's going to be a great year for the Flyers.
Exactly right. Johnny Doc, you're making me feel positive now, man. This is the kind of positive reinforcement I need on a Sunday morning. I'm tired of all the negativity. Thank you, John. I'm tired of guys like Luigi. You see what the sign? What does he have right there on his sign? Luigi sitting over in the side table.
He's just dying for someone to talk to him over there.
I'm just sitting here.
He's got a sign that says "Jets outright, prove me wrong." Have you ever seen those things? Now the guys sit outside and they have a sign that says such and such, prove me wrong. You know how I'm going to prove you wrong?
It's called shtick, Tone. That's all
I know.
this is. All right?
It's clickbait. We're not.
That's all this is.
We're not clicking on him over there.
Clickbait, Luigi Curto here.
The show needs some energy right now, too.
What are you talking about?
We got plenty of juice.
We got Johnny Doc breaking down Ohio State, Penn State. He's breaking down the St. Joe
and then he
prep.
talk about the Flyer season getting started. I got one Flyer shirt. I wear it for the birth of the season, and then 2 weeks later for the death of the season.
Oh, that's
about
the kind of negative nonsense.
Get out.
Get this guy out of here.
They stink on ice.
They went all the way out to the Czech Republic and got a big win on a Saturday afternoon, man.
Skate all they want.
Listen, when they're good this year, don't come.
I won't.
Don't
I
come
won't.
back.
I never
Stay.
will, though, Colin. I make it known that if they win, have a great time. Have a great time. But I will not care. I don't need to be part of the parade. I don't need to be part of the
Get out!
Get out.
I don't need it.
If Harry Mays were here right now, you know what he'd be saying to you?
Get out! Get out!
Get out.
The best.
Exactly
the great
right.
Harry Mays.
Ridiculous. The great Harry Mays, indeed. We're at Toll Man Joe's in South Philly. Come on in. I could feel the excitement. I could feel people finally getting the juices flowing now. 10:41, right? Breakfast time.
Coffee's, fully engaged.
The beer is cold.
Oh, it's good.
You got to get a little scrambled egg. Maybe get some cream chip beef on toast with some hash browns on the side. You know what I'm saying?
Any truth to the rumor that half the stadium today or a third of the stadium will be New Yorkers who made the trip down?
Nah.
Why would the Jet fans come down here?
Because they don't want to watch them at home. They want to come see a good product here.
The Giants at least won a game at home. The Jets haven't won a game at home. And, oh, by the way, the Jets are 0-10 lifetime against the Eagles. Do you realize that? The New York Jets have never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. That's pretty hard to believe.
And I do think we know this. If Sam Darnold's healthy, this is a very, very qualified football team with great additions on both sides.
Absolutely,
of the football.
absolutely.
They're in the right direction. It's just a shame because I would love to see a good football game. Right? The Eagles supporter in me says, hey, if you got to play.
The secondary ticket market for this game is at this point in the year the highest point. So the Jets game today is the highest point. Now, you brought it up Thursday, Tony, at the Countdown Show at Screwballs. Mm-hmm. The New York market's pushing has to be pushing those numbers.
Absolutely. Because you get a chance to come down, you see the Eagles and the Jets. It's not that far.
And it's a 1 o'clock game, too. It's
1 o'clock game. You go home after the game.
You're home by 7.
You're home by 7, miserable again. and you're hoping that the Jets can get Darnold back. And if he hadn't started kissing those women on the West Coast at USC, this never would have happened to mononucleosis.
Our season ticket winner from over at the Landmark was offered big money for his 2 tickets today.
To the Jets today?
He turned it down. He'll be in the house.
What
he was
could it
offered
cost?
good money.
What will it cost to get into the game today? Let's go to a man who buys on the secondary market all the time.
And sells as well.
Yeah, Luigi. Can you check to see what a ticket's going for right now
Sure,
if I wanted
absolutely.
to get in there?
Clickbait, Luigi.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
My buddy Rob's down there right now. I could probably get his tickets off him pretty cheap.
No, I want to know what, if I wanted to go get a ticket right now, go to the game, what would it cost me on the secondary
I'm
market?
efforting that right now.
All right, beautiful.
Give me a second.
Lots more still ahead. We're going to go live. We're going to get
Not the 30th row in section 210 in a decent seat.
In a decent seat.
Yeah, 230, row 12, or the mezzanine level.
150.
No.
Right now.
That's the cheapest seat?
Well, that's the cheapest seat is 150.
What's the row number on that?
I said that's the cheapest seat.
Okay.
If you want to get something
decent,
solid, let's see, section 105, row 16.
Yep.
That's pretty good, right off the 40-yard line. 203, Tony.
$203 to get in right now?
203.
That's not crazy then.
That's not horrible.
That's not a crazy number.
This isn't. Go look around the league, and you'll see NFL teams on the secondary market, $15, $17 to get in. They're a franchise like Jacksonville, as good as they're playing, or Miami. You could probably get a ticket for $8 to go see the Miami Dolphins, except you have to pay $700 for a couple of beers, though.
People in Washington are paying people to take their tickets from them. Seriously.
Yeah, the joke is somebody posted from Washington. They have a car with a window broken. So somebody broke in and took my tickets, and then they left 4 more in there.
Yeah, somebody broke into my car, took 2 tickets to the Redskins games, and left 4 more on top of the dash.
Exactly right. That's the joke.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing what Daniel Jones has done for that huge market of New York City? It's pretty. It's and not to we're going to swerve back, but just having a quarterback who is formidable and is adventurous out of the pocket with his feet, it's changed. Really, that's
coming to an end today, though.
But it's been fun to watch.
Yes,
because you're like, this is a breath of fresh air instead of turning on and being like, oh, okay, you got another team almost tanking. For a lack of a better word, and now he's in there. He's doing great. It's fun to watch. He was obviously a heck of a player at Duke, and a lot of questions because they thought they drafted him too high. But hey,
so far so good.
Gettleman's smiling.
That a new quarterback like Daniel Jones coming in after having that Eli for several years, and you see you see everything trending down. You're right though, Colin. For them, it's a shot in the arm, and it gives you hope. Yeah. It gives a team like that hope. It gives a fan base hope, but it also gives us, the consumer from the outside market, a reason to watch football again.
And it's huge for the NFL. That market needs 2 teams, especially the Giants.
Right. Now, all of a sudden, that Eagles-Giants games are starting to become a little bit more watchable.
Dallas-Giants game, great game to watch. And then you're tuned into the Redskins game because you want to see this Daniel Jones thing, how that built. So it's just fantastic for the NFC East, which really is a huge hub and a huge division for the NFL.
Well, Mr. Thursday Night has already made his selections, and the Vikings-Giants game is one of his 4 picks for the weekend. You want to know where to get all my picks? You go to thepropsnetwork.com. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You just log on to thepropsnetwork.com, and you'll see it. Click on Tony Bruno's Stone Cold Week 5 lead pipe locks. I got a 4-pack of guaranteed winners today. Unlike Monday with Colin, where he always puts the juju on me.
Back-to-back Mondays.
Juju.
I'm
I know.
2-0.
It's ridiculous. I'm 7-0 on Thursday nights, pal. And even on Monday, where I'm struggling, I'm still 4-3. Way ahead of the schedule. We're just getting on schedule here. Coming up, we'll get some late numbers on this game. Also coming up in the second hour, are we going to give people a chance to go to Dallas? Because, Joe Krause has the best giveaways.
It's unbelievable.
We're qualifying. Remember, we have 2 trips, so we want 2 winners or qualifiers and 2 qualifiers, and then that Monday leading into the Dallas game. The Dallas game's on the 20th.
Correct.
So the Monday leading into that game and the Thursday leading into that game at Screwballs, we'll select 2 winners. Because remember, Amanda, our winner for the package,
yes,
her parents are unable to attend that Dallas trip.
So we got 2 packages to go to Dallas?
2 to go to Dallas. She turned that back in to us. So we've got 2 to go to Dallas for the game on the 20th. Tone must be present to win.
And that's the Sunday night game on October 20th. Eagles in Dallas against the Cowboys. Part of that 3.
And we're not leaving you hang out in Irving, Texas on Sunday night without a hotel room. We've got great accommodations, and you're not 75 minutes from the stadium. You're 12 minutes from the stadium on the 20th.
You're not getting this anywhere else. Stick around. Much more coming up. We'll get you the latest info on this game, the numbers that we'd like to crunch, and a whole bunch more live here at Toll Man Joe's in South Philly. Come on by. Free parking. Don't pay $50. Come in and park for free. Come in and have a cold one, and then go enjoy the Eagles-Jets kicking off at 1 o'clock here in South Philadelphia on 97.3 FM and twitch.tv BrunoNation Live.
Hour number 1 of the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff show is fueled by Dunkin'. After the Eagles win, you win with Dunkin'.
Yes, sir.
Today on Compass Media
coming up next.
Yeah, Tone, do you want to squeeze Merle in real quick? And let's get him done.
That's why I went a little longer on that segment.
Do you have his number, Hunter?
I do. It's on this outline. And by the way, can we put Tony's mic just a smidge lower? It's a little hot.
Nick, adjust Tony's just a hair.
My mic's too hot?
Just a tiny bit. Just a little hot.
Listen to the Cowboys and Packers. Coverage begins after the Eagles and Jets on 97.3 ESPN.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a tremendous history of great success in the real estate market. Meet Kristen Thompson, a proud graduate of Villanova. Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20 years and specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors. You can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group, 215-429-2451.
Steve at ProSportsInfo.com.
215-429-2451. Kristen Thompson, your real estate advocate who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
There's nothing like having the best of both worlds. And if you need quality orthopedic care, that's what you'll get from Cape Regional Health System. First, you'll get the personalized orthopedic care the Cape region has counted on for decades. And through our partnership with Penn Orthopedics,
hey, Hunter.
benefit from nationally ranked clinical expertise respected across the country. For an appointment,
you there, brother?
609-463-CAPE or visit caperegional.com/orthopedics. Cape Regional Health System and Penn Orthopedics, the best of both worlds for a healthier life.
What is that? Oh. Hunter, you there? Yes, sir.
We're going to come up with a Doug Peterson mic'd up from the locker room.
All right, how much time is going to be in this segment?
About 6 minutes.
Is that us or no? That's not us. How do we get that?
1 minute.
So what do you have? A Peterson bite?
Yeah, it says right here, Music Bridge, Eagles mic'd up video. So I got a Doug Peterson bite after the Green Bay one.
Okay, and then.
I can go into music and then into Steve.
Yeah, it was down in Tampa.
Yeah, Steve Merle's going to be on hold. How much time is Tony going to have?
About 6 minutes.
All right, so just let Steve know it's going to be. Just let Steve know to keep it tight. He's on with Tony Bruno. It's going to be him and Tony. I'll tag out his contact information, but if he wants to reference it, he can put it there as well.
Tony Bruno's home on Eagles Game Day. And for those of you in Cape May County, Toll Man Joe's in Wildwood is your football home every week in September. Toll Man Joe's, where wings were created, wings were perfected, and where your football Sunday is set to begin this Sunday and every Eagles Game Day. Get to Toll Man Joe's. Join me, Tony Bruno. I'll see you on Game Day at Toll Man Joe's.
You're listening to the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff show. Get to Tolman Joe's and register for your authentic Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey. Presented by Martin Law, the law firm for injured workers.
That's not us, right?
One thing I love about you is the way you fight for 60 minutes. And you hang in there.
Tone, we're up in the bite. Peterson bite.
Pretty, and it's never a pretty win. Okay?
That's okay. I'll bring us in.
Oh, you bring us in?
There we go.
Listen, it took all 60 minutes. It took every man in this room to get this thing done. Okay? There is no quit in this team. It's all about fight. It's all about hanging together, about one play at a time. I'm so proud of this group, man. So proud of this group. And we needed this. Okay? We needed this for a lot of reasons. Okay? For a lot of reasons. One, to get to 2-2. Let's not kid ourselves. But we're 1-0 this week. Right. 1-0 this week. I'm so happy for every single one of you.
Yeah. Hit them drums, baby. Hit him hard. We're live at Toll Man Joe's. You can feel the energy level starting to increase here. Colin Thompson, Luigi's here doing his bad Steven Crowder impersonation on the other side. With the that's who started that. Change my mind.
I'm aware.
Okay. Meanwhile, we got a lot more stats to break down here, Colin.
We do.
But we got a man on the line right now. Is he on the line with us?
He's with us. Steve is with us.
The great Steve Merrill from ProSportsInfo.com, crunching numbers. Steve, good morning. I know this number keeps changing. It goes up and it goes down. What's the latest on the Eagles? It was 14. I know it was 14.5, went back down, then went back up again. Where's it sitting? Has this number been moving around?
Yeah, it has been moving around, but most sports books around the world, maybe outside the local area, it's probably going to be a bit higher, obviously, but most sports books right now have a solid 14 on this game, and the over-under is a solid 43 right now. So that's basically saying, about a 28-14 Eagles predicted win over the Jets. In the Jersey and Philly area, I would expect maybe some 14.5s or 15s. There'll be a lot more Eagle money there at the local books. And that, of course, is a critical number. You're talking about a 5% chance that the Eagles win by exactly 14 points today. So that half a point makes a tremendous difference in the long run.
Yeah, I found that out on Thursday night when I took the Rams plus 1.5.
Yeah.
A lot of people did. But that was good because I picked the Rams plus 1.5, and they really should have won the game outright. All right, now, certainly when you talk about this Eagle game, they're supposed to win. You said it. Everybody who's betting is betting. I mean, is anybody betting on the Jets' money line in this game? Because that's where you make the money if you want to really, really push the envelope. You're going to bet Jets in the money line, right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, in the NFL, about 80% of the time, underdogs that cover win outright. So if you do like an underdog plus the points, you really should be willing to put some of it on the money line. And historically, your long-term return on investment is much better. And you also are you're risking a lot less, obviously, because you're getting the Jets almost as high as 6-1 on the money line in a lot of locations today. By the way, you have to lay 1-8 to win the Eagles on the money line. So you're risking 800 to win 100 on the Eagles. You're risking 100 to win back 600. So you only have to hit that 1 out of 6 times to break even. I'm not sure I'd be that bold today, though. I do think on the surface this is a bad scheduling spot for the Eagles. So I think you could make a case to take the 2 touchdowns. But the Jets have looked pretty bad as far as winning straight up. With that said, guys, you look last week at Tampa. I thought that was a terrible scheduling spot for the Rams. That game was sandwiched in between 2 big games for L.A., and now they did not cover the 9-point spread, but they lost outright as a 9-point favorite last Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point you make about the schedule. Obviously going to Minnesota, then to Dallas, then to Buffalo. That's a tough little group there, especially on the road. What do you think the line is if Sam Darnold's playing today?
Yeah, it's probably at least, it would have been about 6 or 7 points less a few weeks ago. But the fact that the Jets are struggling all around, I don't think he's worth a full touchdown. What you have to remember, too, it's not just necessarily how much Darnold's worth, it's how much worse the backup situation is.
Yeah.
That's worth a few points each way. But, for example, that Monday nighter against Cleveland when they went to a 6.5-point home dog, that was anywhere from probably a 5 to 7 point adjustment. And that's probably what it is here. I think the Jets would still be at least a touchdown dog, if not more, but it would definitely not be 14.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Merrill, ProSportsInfo.com. Steve Merrill at ProSportsInfo.com for all the information. Good stuff, Steve. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Tony.
There you go. This is the break. What, you think that's enough information? No, it's never enough information. We've got all kinds of great stuff coming up in our next hour here live at Toll Man Joe's. Crowd starting to build, people coming in, parking their cars for free, getting ready to go over
10
for
seconds.
football action. We're ready to come back in the next hour at 11 o'clock. Stop on by. Tony Bruno, Colin Thompson, Luigi, everybody's here on 97.3 ESPN.
Give me a C-L-E-A-R. What's that spell?
It spells clear it out. And that's what Matt Blatt Kia of Toms River and Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township are doing with remaining 2019
You there, brother?
Kia inventory. Oh, more than your trade is worth? We want it. Get it to $5,000.
So let me, top of the hour.
On a 2019 Kia Cadenza Premium.
Top of the hour, we have the We Ready sound.
0% APR financing available.
And then to us.
Select in-stock Kia models, plus our 4-day
Is
love it or leave
McMullen
it
on
return
this
policy.
segment?
No.
Good job clearing 400 per week. Matt Blatt Kia wants to help.
Now, I have him marked at the link, but I'm not going to come back to him until the bottom of the hour when they announce the scratches.
Okay, cool. So then we'll just do the We Ready, and then we're good till the first break.
Yeah, back to Tony and Colin. I'll hit Steve one more time, as a reference point there, and then we also have The Godfather that I have scheduled at the very end of the show.
When it comes to wings, nobody beats the Piccalilli Inn. You'll see why people
There's a
drive from all
baseball
over for the
club,
Pics,
too.
world-famous wings and home-style favorites. Enjoy the beautiful fall weather.
So this is the Philly Sports Trump. Oh, you just hit that? This is the baseball Trump.
Make the right call. Call the one.
Oh, hey, Hunter. On that dock hit, see if you can, for the audio clip that you pull, see if you can somehow. I want to use the baseball conversation with him because he was very defined and he didn't hem and haw, and he was kind of real specific in that. I'd love to somehow try and mix a montage of his prep reference, Penn State reference, and his baseball within the 2 minutes. I don't want it to run the whole thing. I just want to try and piece together the bullet points of those three.
I can easily do that for you.
Just tighten it all up and make it sound as impactful as you can make it.
You got it. 2 minutes.
There's a reason I do that, by the way, and I appreciate it.
So we've got a baseball Trump feuding with Philly Sports Trump.
With Penn Orthopedics, you'll now benefit from nationally
Philly
ranked
Sports
clinical
Trump said
expertise
Philadelphia
respected
media
across the
personalities who
country.
take
For an
anti-Wentz
appointment,
stances for
call
clicks are the
463
enemy of the people.
or visit caperegional.com
And then baseball Trump says, at MLB Donald Trump says, Carson Wentz is an overrated quarterback. Too bad. Truth hurts. The baseball Trump not agreeing with the football Trump.
Planning home improvements of $5,000
Philly
or more.
Sports
Pay
Trump.
for those renovations
You
with
follow
a
him?
high-interest
Who?
credit card.
Philly
That may
Sports
not
Trump.
Be a great idea.
No.
A better
He's a great
idea
follow,
maybe
man.
to take
I haven't
cash
followed
out of your home
Gotta
with
follow
a
him,
Quicken
man. What's the
Loans
matter with you?
30-year fixed rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.99%. APR 4.0.
Tone, we got to do 2-3 minutes of audio here. 2 minutes, 90 seconds. On Davios.
On Davios?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming out of the top of the hour.
I threw my buddy's bachelor party there.
Yeah, it's a great spot. I gotta get their spot up on the air, but I don't have them in the show yet. I don't have them built into the show anywhere. So I need something to send an audio clip.
They were I mean, seriously, that bachelor party there was incredible.
Oh yeah, then when the Patriots come in town, they want to do a big event with the show there because the owner and Kraft are good buds. The owner of Davio.
Yeah.
So and the Patriots will be. I think the Patriots are going in there for dinner when they're here and all that shit. So
I'm sure they can massage something out of them.
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
You guys are doing a show there?
They want us to do one there.
What day?
I haven't figured it out yet. I got to meet up with the girl when the Patriots week.
I don't know if the same guy is there, but when I was on the radio, the guy who ran the place used to email me all the time, invite Robin and I to go to dinner.
Was
Yes,
it
yes.
Etor's not?
He's not there
No,
anymore?
he's not anymore. New GM there, same owner.
Check.
But no, Etor left. He was a good dude, Etor.
Sexual abuse, take legal action. Jeff Anderson and Associates and attorney Greg
Patriots
Giancarlo
week
can
is
help.
November
Visit itstimennewjersey.com
17th. The game's at
or call
4:25.
What is it?
The game's at 4:25.
That's a Sunday. No, not Sunday. We're going to do a special. We're going to create a special broadcast. It'll be outside of this.
No.
We'll do a
Okay,
special that week.
Now
we should
remember,
do a Sunday morning.
That game, depending on what the situation is,
And then come here.
could be flexed. I don't know when they're allowed to start flexing.
That's a national slot.
Well, that's a national CBS game, but that could be flexed to Sunday night. Nah, probably not.
Yeah, they've been waiting
No.
to see this.
Live on 97.3 You know why?
ESPN and the mobile app.
Yeah. Because the next week's already on Sunday night. They're not going to put the Eagles on back to back.
26 East Oregon Avenue in the heart of South Philly. Presented by IBEW Local 98. Powered by Martin Law and fueled by the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. Now, it's Eagles game day and time for the
We don't have to. We can, but we don't have to.
with Tony Bruno.
Mm-hmm. Everybody now. We ready.
Come on, Nick.
We ready. Luigi, you ready?
Where's Luigi? He'll
Yeah, I'm
sing
ready.
along.
Why aren't you singing We Ready, man? I mean, our words aren't that hard. You don't even need like a cheat sheet for it.
Well, because if you stay ready, you don't need to keep telling everybody you're ready.
Oh, that's good. That's a good
Remember, I
job
was the
out of
first
you.
one here.
You were not the first one here. I was the first
You
one
live
here.
here, Joe. That's the difference.
Exactly. I smell coffee in the air. Who just got some fresh coffee? Did you brew some coffee, or did you just walk in with that? Oh, I can smell it. Is that pumpkin spice? Of course it is. Everything's pumpkin spice now.
Your basic nostrils are on fleek right now, Tony.
I am, man. I got a nose for football, and I got a nose for coffee.
I got a nose for pumpkins.
They are brewing it, especially for us, Bax.
I smell coffee. It's not her. It can't be her Dunkin' Donuts coffee from 25 feet away. There's got to be coffee brewing in the building here at Toll Man Joe's.
You are correct.
Beautiful. I need some coffee right now. I'm pretty dry right now. Look at this, Colin Thompson. Whoa, Joe. I mean, this is an outrage. But we'll have some fresh coffee. We got great food here. Crowd starting to shuffle in. Come on by. Don't forget, free parking here at Toll Man Joe's. You got to be insane to pay $50 to go park in the lots where there's all kinds of miscreants and people doing bad
if
stuff.
you're driving to the game right now, if you're in the lot and you're set up and you've got a traditional big tailgate and everything else, I get it. If you're coming up to the game, you're crossing the bridge, you're parking at the lot, handing them $50 to get there. Just to walk it out of your car and walk into the stadium, crazy. Come down here, it's free.
You can get for $50 in here. You can eat and drink for hours.
Yeah, but what do we get for $10?
Well, that's down in that's on the other part of the city. $10 you can get Kensington. You can get a lot for $10.
Anything you
want. But we're
to.
in South Philly, right in the shadows of Lincoln Financial Field. Tony Bruno, Colin Thompson, Luigi's here, Joe Krause, Nick is here, Miss Robin's here. I mean, the whole gang's here, and of course, back in the studio is Hunter Brody at the ones and twos back in the Stu studio, as someone once said. All right, we got the game coming up. It's 14 points. I mentioned all the stats here, Colin, and Carson Wentz. This is one of the stats that I love about. This is why I love stats. Carson Wentz, this is a remarkable stat. Career conversions, and you're seeing, we now know, for all the people who are saying, Carson Wentz, man, he's still not 100%. Remember? Remember earlier in the year he took a hit in the ribs. And
I'm
people,
out on those. I'm out on that group. Out.
I'm out on that group too.
Yeah, I'm out.
This is how unhealthy Carson Wentz is. He is 24 of 26 on career conversion attempts. In other words, 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 especially. And this year alone, Carson Wentz is 6 of 6 on conversions, keepers, to get the first down. 6 of 6. You know how many keepers Carson Wentz had last year? 3 of 4 the entire season. So Carson Wentz kept the ball trying to dive to get the first down only 4 times all of last year. This year, he's already done it 6 times and is perfect 6 for 6 every time.
And to me, that shows Doug Peterson's trust in him.
Absolutely.
It's time to get number 11 revved up. There's no more care package. There's no more, hey, just hand it off and let's keep Carson healthy. No. He's full throttle. He's ready to go. Last week he was efficient, 16 for 27, 3 TDs, with really the number 1 receiver on Alshon, in my opinion, that is not in game shape. He's got to play himself back, missing a couple of weeks with a lower body. That's very, very tough to get. So my personal opinion is Alshon will get healthier. Carson will gain more weapons as the season goes on.
Yep.
And really, the sky's the limit. What New England did him last week, 6 different people rushed the football for New England. The Eagles need to do the same today. Let Carson take shots in the play-action game. And to me, that's the efficient way to pick apart this Jets defense, which you talked about.
They're top 10 defense.
Has some players on it. Williams, Hewitt has got after the quarterback in 3 games. He's got 2 sacks, 4 QB hits, an interception versus Buffalo. Leonard Williams, first-round pick out of USC. Adams, top 5 pick out of LSU. Poole and May in the back that I play with at Florida. 2 great rangy players, and then obviously Mosley. But they have some players, Tony.
But the other thing about the Eagles, while we talk about their offense looking better each week, as Carson Wentz is obviously healthy, is the Eagles' defense. The Eagles are the NFL's worst sack team.
Yep.
Who would have thunk we would have said that after 4 games, that the Philadelphia Eagles have a low of 3 sacks in their first 4 games, and the defensive end position has just 1 of them. Every other team in the NFL has at least 5 sacks. The Eagles have 3, and you've got 2 teams that have 18 sacks already in the first 4 weeks of their game.
And you have to think it has something to do with the injuries
Yep.
in the defensive tackle spot and really the depth at defensive end, They don't have a ton of depth there past Graham and Barnett. Those 2 are great, but what the Eagles and really everybody's good at in this league is rotating defensive linemen in. And the Eagles don't have the depth like they had last year when you lose Bennett and Long and you really don't replace them with veteran talent. So They're lacking in those spots for sure.
The Patriots and the Carolina Panthers each have 18 sacks already in 4 games. The Eagles have 3. I mean, never. I don't believe it's ever happened in Eagle history that they've only had 3 sacks in 4 games.
If there's a game to do it, a game for the defensive line to get going for the Eagles,
yes,
it's a game like today. Stidham's going to be uncomfortable back there. It's going to give the corners more time to cover down. Robbie Anderson's a threat at receiver. Crowder's a threat at receiver. But if he doesn't have protection, which they're rotating some offensive linemen now, Kelechi Osimile's out of the game, one of the best guards in really the whole NFL. Former Raider, the Jets traded for him this offseason. So they're rotating again. 2 starters are out for the Jets offensive line. They've activated a couple guys from the practice squad and rotating some new players in. So like I said, Tony, if there's a day to get the defensive line going, it's today.
Now, Colin, just to ask you a question about this, is that this is also, it's dangerous for them as well. Because with Falk coming in, a player like Le'Veon, who they basically run screenplays to him constantly, this is a really, really tough situation for the defensive line who can get sucked in to those screenplays and those backers. So I don't know. Do you think being aggressive up front is the best move for the Eagles front 7? Well, the front 4 at least.
I think it is because you have a veteran like Bradham who knows what's coming. He knows who is back there. Bell. He's carried the ball. He's caught the ball or targeted 51% of the 172 offensive plays for the Jets. That's tops in the NFL.
He is the most dangerous screen back in the NFL, and that's why I'm saying. So when you have a guy like Bell, you do have to kind of be a little bit careful when you come after him.
No question. But if you can't run the football, if you can't be efficient in the short and deep passing game, you can't run screens. You cannot run screens. And Le'Veon, they know that he's a screen guy. He's a draw guy. They know about the patience. So they'll be taught up. They'll be caught up on it. He's not going to catch anybody by surprise.
You know how many rushing first downs the Jets have? Now, of course, they've only played 3 games because they had a bye. They have 7 rushing first downs total in their first 3 games. 36 total first downs, rushing or passing. So when you got Le'Veon Bell and you only have 7 rushing first downs in your first 3 games, that's horrific. That's not just bad. That is mind-boggling bad. So everybody knows you got to stop Le'Veon Bell, and the Eagles know they have to stop Le'Veon Bell. But I agree with Colin. You got to put pressure on the quarterback. You got to get turnovers on defense. The Eagles have 5 defensive turnovers, and they're actually middle of the pack there. So it's not that they're not getting mistakes from other teams. They have to force more mistakes. And if you put pressure on Luke Falk, he is not going to be able to do anything against the Eagles secondary and burn them, because that's what's been happening against good teams. The Eagles secondary has been burned because they haven't been able to put enough pressure on the quarterback or get hits on the quarterback.
Do you know how you put pressure on Luke Falk? Offensively, be efficient and run the football and run that score up, because then he has to throw to come back into the football game. It puts him in a really bad predicament. If the Eagles struggle offensively early, Luke Falk is going to get in a rhythm. Their offense is going to get in a rhythm because the pressure's not there. Put the pressure on him. If I'm the offensive line for the Eagles, if I'm Doug Peterson, I'm dialing up the same game plan that was ran in Green Bay. I'm running the football.
Yep.
I am pounding the football. You invest draft capital, you invest a huge part of your salary cap in that offensive line. 2 tight ends, a draft pick, high, Ertz, big second contract. Use those guys. Run the ball, stop the run, feed it through the tight ends. And I think really that's what allows the Eagles to pin back their ears and get up their Falk, because he's got to throw his way back into the game.
Another stat that screams 21%. You know what 21% is? That's the conversion rate on third down by the New York Jets, the worst in the NFL. They only convert not even a quarter of their third downs this year. So that's where you send the pressure. You don't have to blitz them, I don't think, because of the offensive line woes for the Jets. So if you get a good pass rush today, and maybe Fletcher Cox, with another week under his belt, gets a little more healthy and is able to get in there and assert his power. Because let's be honest, Fletcher Cox in the first 4 games, you see it, he's still not 100%. Once Fletcher Cox gets going inside, you're going to see the pressure, because the Jets stink on third down conversions, and that's where you got to put the pressure. That's where you get the turnovers.
I think, too, something that's not talked about after the huge win in Green Bay on a Thursday night, you have the mini bye, right? You're off for the weekend. You're in the facility getting rehab. You got your 2 veteran stars in Alshon Jeffrey and Fletcher Cox getting healthy and coming back, getting back into game shape. Another few days. While everyone's beating themselves up over the weekend, you're sitting at home, you're on your couch after a win, And you have an opportunity now to get those guys going against a team that, right, you should win before you go on the road and face the gauntlet of at the Vikings, which is a loud and tough place to play, and a team that could go one or two directions, at the Cowboys, which we know is a tough game, and at the Bills, who's a really trending hot team that gave New England problems 2 weeks ago. So I'm happy that they had the mini bye week because that will really help them even more in this game.
This is a good spot to get Aguilar back on track as well.
No question.
Big time. After getting shut out of the stat book last week,
Yep,
this is a really good chance for him.
So here we have it. We're breaking it down to levels beyond. I mean, who else is giving you 21%? We give 110.
Does anybody bet $100? Does anybody bet $800 to make $100? Does anybody do that?
Today is a game. Today's a game where if you have a suicide
Do
pool.
they do that, Luigi?
What do you mean they? We, I have.
What do you mean we?
What do you mean we? What do you mean you people?
I'm starting to get hungry. You know what I'm going to have before we get out of here at Old Man Joe's today?
What are you going to have?
We need to eat the babies.
Exactly.
Can we find how many ways are we going to find a way to get that drop into the show?
As many ways as I can.
The only drop
we got to get the message across.
Yes, exactly.
The other message I want to get across: free park.
How many times do I have to remind? By the way, the crowd's starting to build now.
We need
There's
a
an
drop.
upstairs party.
We need a drop. You have to be here to win for Joe Kraus.
Yes.
Must be
present to win.
And free parking at Toll Man Joe's. Joe
Exactly
Kraus.
right. And if you don't understand that, you know what?
We will never forgive you.
We'll never forgive you if you don't understand that.
He's
So
also got the
please,
where else are you going to get that?
Where
He's
else
also
you going to
got
get that?
How dare you?
Exactly.
Tony's over here exhausting the soundboard.
Can we get a Pete Thompson drop in here? Are you ready for some football? Can we get that back? Because I'm ready for some
I
football.
don't have
Hunter.
that one in here.
Hunter's got it back there.
Hunter, give me something good here.
Pete
Come on.
Thompson.
Give me Pete Thompson.
You're gonna have to give me a sec.
No worries. I put you on the spot. That's my
We're throwing
bad. We'll get it on the way back.
Don't you have an elaborate sound system like I have here?
He does.
I wish.
We're coming right back. We're live here at Toll Man Joe's. The coffee's brewing, breakfast, food. The bar's starting to get active. We may have an opportunity before we get out of here, Joe Krause, to register people for a trip to Dallas on that Sunday night game, October 20th. You want to go? This is the only place you're going to do it. We're coming right back. We're live here, Toll Man Joe's in South Philly. Did I mention free parking? On 97.3 ESPN and at Twitch TV, BrunoNation Live.
Hour number 2 of the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff show is sponsored by the Philadelphia
Stand
Federal
up.
Credit Union.
Bum, bum,
Philly's
bum,
home
bum.
is our home.
Oh,
Go
that's
to
mine.
pfcu.com.
Yo.
Okay, sir. Talk
Kevin
to me.
Kugler here from Sunday Night Football
We
on
have the
Westwood
Eagles
One. Jason
drop
Taylor
into
and I will
music,
have the
but
call
before
for
the
you when the
Eagles drop,
Cowboys
I'm gonna
visit
try
the
and play
Saints.
Are You
Both
Ready
are
for
coming
Some
off
Football
wins,
of
but
Pete
Dak
Thompson
Prescott
singing.
and Dallas carry a 3-0 record. New Orleans at 2-1 is looking for a second straight win with Teddy Bridgewater under center for the injured Drew Brees.
That's okay.
Join
That-
us and hear the NFL all season
That's
from
all right. That
Westwood
guy's
One.
on his way
It's
down.
Sunday
so we'll
Night
get-
Football, Cowboys and Saints on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, that's strange, but that's okay.
If the Eagles defense struggles against this team,
That's
voted
okay.
One of the 10 best sports
You got
bars in
problems.
Pennsylvania. It's College Game Day, Football Sunday plus
Yeah.
Monday Night
No.
Football, and a
No, 'cause
special
then it sounds
live
like shit anyway.
NFL Countdown to Kickoff show with the Tony Bruno Show every Thursday starting at 6 p.m. Get the daily specials on Facebook and find your way to Screwball Sports Bar and Grill in King of Prussia. Screwballs, where sports people go to watch the game.
I don't have anybody in this segment, do I?
History of great
Do we have
success
Gil?
in the
'Cause he's
real
right next
estate
to me. We can
market.
go live
Meet
to him
Kristen
here.
Thompson, a proud
Oh,
graduate
is
of
Gil still
Villanova.
in
Kristen
studio?
has been in
Yeah,
the
he's
real
standing
estate
right next
to me.
business
Okay, good, yeah,
for
so we
20
have
years
Gil
and
here.
specializes in buyers, sellers,
And-
and investors. You can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group.
Fight song is after the next break.
215-429-2451. Kristen
I'll
Thompson, your
try
real
and
estate
get
advocate
McMullen there
who
if the
will work
inactives are
tirelessly
out
on your
for a
behalf
quick
while
hit. Won't be
ensuring the
long.
sale or the purchase is
And
the
then
easiest part of the process.
The Godfather. Do you have the Godfather's landline?
I do.
What a great
Okay, that's the number he wants us to call us on.
Oh, I don't know if it's his landline or his cell.
856 number.
Got to get things just right. Like Progressive's Name
It's
Your
an
Price tool.
856.
Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget.
Hold on one second.
And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again.
No, I have
Judy, can you-
202-972.
And now-
Write this one down, Hunter. 856 434 4491, and I'm going to try and end the show with him at 11:50. I'm going to text him now.
Okay, we have 1 minute, by the way. So we're coming back with Pete Thompson's going to sing Are You Ready for Football?
And then you have Mike Gill here in studio. Mike Gill is in studio, Tony. He'll do his 3 keys.
Mike, okay.
You hear me, Tony?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to have Mike Gill's going to call in.
No, Mike's in studio, so you'll be able to. He's not on the phone. He's right there. So whenever you're ready.
But he's
there. He's there, yep.
Yeah, but for coming back from break, we'll have Pete Thompson. We'll have an audio cut from 1993, and then we will have music to open.
Good, okay.
Okay.
And then, okay.
$20 million in college scholarships, and our graduates go on to enjoy successful careers.
So you can play Eagles, Jets, play-by-play first, then Pete Thompson.
And be part of our family.
Then music laid.
Then the audio cut.
Okay.
Don't forget, we could do it at the bottom. I got to work Davio. I got to get some Davio's audio into the show.
Right here, it's too cluttered though. So
it's too cluttered. Yeah.
And register for your authentic Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey, presented by Martin Law, the law firm for injured workers.
Listen, I've told you guys this before.
Are you ready for some football?
The size is fake is a good one. His pass is not. It's picked off by Eric Allen.
Oh.
Allen still spinning, still finding room, and Allen comes out of the back. Eric Allen still on his feet. Eric Allen at the 40. Allen is going to go all the way. Eric Allen steps into the end zone, and the Eagles are ahead from 94 yards away.
Oh, man, the legendary Pat Summerall with a call back in 1993 with arguable, I don't even know if there's an argument, the greatest cornerback in Eagles history, Eric Allen. What an unbelievable player he was.
I love the old drops, Tony. I love the NFL's doing it all season to celebrate the 100 years. I absolutely love him.
Eric Allen, what a great, great player he was. And that's the big interception. As we go back and look back at some of the Eagles-Jets games over the years, of course, the Eagles don't play the Jets all the time. They play them in preseason every year because it's geographically convenient. But the Jets are 0-10, Colin, against the Philadelphia Eagles. And joining us right now in studio, a man who always gets action going when it comes to football, bringing us his, how many keys will he bring us today, Mike Gill, back in the studio?
He's
Mike,
got 3 keys lined up.
3 keys? Mike?
I'll have as many as you need for this game, Tony. This game here, this Eagles-Jets game, I got a laundry list of keys.
Beautiful, man. Not the kind of keys that some people think we're talking about. We're talking about football statistical keys here.
For some reason, my mind actually was going to that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure a lot of people were. We don't play that stuff. We're just here for stats and information, man. All right, we talked about the obvious ones. The Jets' offense is terrible. They only have 1 offensive touchdown. Their defense is good.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball on the third-string quarterback. We already know all that, and the Eagles are favored by 2 touchdowns. What other keys can you give us that we haven't thought of, heard about, or even
it's something for you guys to kind of chew on. I don't know. I don't know if you've talked about this, but how bizarre is this? Sam Darnold, who had mono, took the first team snaps all week long in hopes that he would play. And they had no snaps for the kid who's actually going to play. So now you have a third-string guy who got no work all week long because they were hoping Darnold could play. I mean, what kind of dysfunction? This is the Jets. They're dysfunctional. But what kind of dysfunction is not giving the guy who might play the reps over the guy who has mono and may not play? Did you guys not find that to be bonkers?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible when you mention, because we watched Darnold in the practice bubble earlier in the week. On Wednesday, he was out there throwing. You know, everybody saw that. But then everybody was also saying that he's not ready, he's not cleared for contact. So the fact that he's able to breathe again and move around, but when you're talking about the spleen, there was no way they were going to put him in here. So that's why it makes it even more bizarre. And Adam Gase, you know, I saw the other stat. Adam Gase is 5-0 coming off a bye, but that was with Miami, when Miami was not as horrific as they are now. And so why would you, Adam Gase, allow this to happen is the biggest question.
And there was a report that Joe Douglas was going to be heavily influencing this decision here, almost over Gase. You wonder if Douglas was like, look, we're so bad, I'm just going to give my friends this game. I'll let them chew up on Luke Falk and kind of get their pass rush going here, because that's what I see, Tony. You got to get the pass rush going. If the Eagles give up yards in this game, then you really got to be concerned and start thinking about making a call. You probably should anyway. But if they're giving up yards in the air to this team, the secondary's got big issues. So that's something I want to definitely watch today, because you're going up against a team that has one offensive touchdown and the third quarterback who got no reps this week. They should not be able to get yards in the air. Also, what I loved on Thursday night, guys, was the Howard Sanders. I love the way that Doug Peterson utilized those guys. Just keep the run game going this week. Keep it rolling. Don't get Carson hurt. Don't ask him to throw too much. In this game, keep that run game going and make that a staple and something that you could be really confident about as you get ready for next week.
Mike, when we were at the Barefoot Beach Bar there at the Marquis de Lafayette with Moshe and Ryan, we talked about the Eagles sticking to this formula. And are they going to stick to the formula of running the football? And Carson Wentz taking shots down the field, an efficient 300-yard throwing game for him last week. Do you think that's a formula this week, or you think they're going to go back to the old ways in a different way that Doug has done it throughout his time here in Philly?
Well, Colin, it's interesting. Last night I watched the Peyton Manning detail of Carson Wentz. It was excellent, by the way. And one of the things that Manning said that I hope that Doug Peterson listened to, he says, I love his play calls, the creativity. I love these RPOs. But the thing they need more of is the R's. Not enough team use the R in the RPO. So hopefully, yes, they saw that and said, you know what, let's stick with this. Our guys are grooving right now. And quite frankly, in the NFL, Belichick's great at this, guys. Teams are throwing, so they're taking linebackers off the field. So Belichick says, you're going to take linebackers off the field, I'll run at you because you got nobody to tackle my running backs. There's no linebackers on the field that can tackle anymore, so run right at these smaller guys. And I think that's why you're seeing the running backs. There's like 13 running backs on pace for 1,000 yards. I'm throwing numbers at you, Tony. I'm trying to find some.
I love this stuff, man. I love these keys. In fact, one of our listeners checked in and said, just leave your keys with the guy at the curb. He'll take care of everything. Not these keys. We're not leaving these keys with the valet guy. We're taking these keys to the bank.
And and that's a mistake on me. 3 TDs for Carson Wentz last week, not 300 yards. But, Mike, that's a great point you bring up about the running back and the linebacker situation there, and really how the game's changed and how really the Patriots did that last week when they would sub when the Jets would sub a extra DB,
safety.
DB in the game, or they'll say they'll put a linebacker in. Okay, fine. You're going to put a linebacker in. Now we're going to put Rex Burkhead on that linebacker one-on-one and receiving. And he had 6 catches last week.
Well, that's
6
where
catches from a running back is huge. And I think Sanders has the ability to do that today as well.
No question. A lot of teams now, the Eagles included, I mean, sometimes Zach Brown will be on the field, but there's a lot of times it's Nigel Bradham and Nate Geary are the 2 backs. And if you run the ball at Nate Geary, he's a small linebacker. But Belichick does it. He did it last year when they got to the playoffs. All of a sudden, they started running the ball more. Why? The other team has 1 linebacker on the field, and he's running right at you, saying, you try to tackle me with your 1 backer. The one thing this week, Le'Veon Bell is like 59% of their offense. And if they just check down Charlie to him all day long, you got to be able to tackle him. Otherwise, they got a decent defense. They've been okay. They're not great, but they're okay. They're not an abomination. But Le'Veon Bell's the one guy to keep an eye on. The rest of the team's awful.
If you want to know what Jim Schwartz thinks about Le'Veon Bell, when the Eagles go man-to-man and bring pressure, look who runs down with Le'Veon. If it's Jenkins, there's a lot of respect there. If it's Bradham, he's going to need some help over the top with Jenkins. Are they going to bracket him like the old Patriot way where Zach Ertz last week was bracketed against the Packers, which is there's a guy outside and there's a guy inside and there's a safety over the top. So you want to see how a coach really respects a player, see who guards them when they're one-on-one.
That's a good point. And by the way, anybody, Luigi over there, can he play corner? I mean, have they called you yet to play corner, Tony?
Him and Krause are starting this week.
I did play corner in high school.
There you go.
Not at
they
the
need
prep,
somebody.
He went to Frankfurt, though. Luigi went to Frankfurt, not the prep.
I was a starting white corner in a public league, so that should tell you everything you need to know right there, Tone, all right? Ain't nobody burning me, homie.
I love it. Well, Craig James got a call. Ryan, what was the other guy's? Lewis. I mean, I don't know if that they can utilize Jenkins the way they want to use him this week. They might have to get creative with those guys in the secondary.
Now, one last note about the defensive backs. I mean, Sidney Jones is expected to play. Well, in fact, John McMullen's going to join us for the scratches in just a couple of minutes. Sidney Jones still with the hamstring. He's going to play. Rasul, Douglas, those are going to be your starting corners today. And then you got Skandrick playing in the nickel, and the only guy you got left is Craig James is the only healthy backup. So you can't afford to lose anybody today in the secondary. I mean, you're down to nobody.
They got the Pony Express out there. Where's Dickerson when you need him? Craig James, Eric Dickerson playing corner for the Eagles today. Yeah, it's a big problem. And look, Sidney Jones, do you guys notice this? Anytime he gets beat, it feels like his hamstring comes up a little. If you have a hamstring problem, how bad was it that you're playing the next week?
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about it earlier in the week about how he is unable to play string more than, I think his biggest streak of playing consecutive games was 5 in a row. He gets hurt a lot, and it's always the hamstring. So
a lot.
It's one of those sad situations, and we hope this guy is only 23, 24 years old. Mike, always good to talk to you, man. Thanks for the keys today. The keys are waiting outside. Just give the guy $5 on the way out the door today.
Always tip, Tony. Always tip.
Exactly right. For just a second, at least. The
Just
great Mike Gill.
Thanks, Mike.
We're back here. We're going to eat a little bit. I need to go to Davio's, I think. I need a road trip to Davio's. We're going to come back and talk about that next. Plus, more of your good stuff. Is the Philly Godfather still ahead?
Godfather's still ahead. We're going to end the show with the Godfather
today. Man.
I thought it was important to put him in the second hour.
Absolutely.
We want to leave the broadcast with the last words of the red-hot Godfather.
The freshest, the most up-to-date, fresh out the kitchen info still ahead. Countdown to kickoff. Tony Bruno, Colin Thompson, Luigi Curto, Joe Crosby. The whole gang is here. Toll Man Joe's, baby, here in South Philadelphia. Did I mention it's free parking here?
It's free parking.
Free parking on
It's
97.3 ESPN, Twitch.tv, BrunoNation Live.
You're listening to the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff show.
I'm going to run a spot, a commercial spot, all week.
Business manager.
It's a 30-second spot, and it's going to say it's free at Tolman Joe's. It's free to park at Tolman Joe's. I'm just going to keep saying it.
Hey, Joe, do we have Nick Mullen on this segment here?
Yeah, but not until the inactives come out. So
they have to be out by now.
Are they out yet or no? I'll take a water, brother, yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, Tony, if you see anything, let me know.
I'll just tell them to call in when the I don't want to do a whole segment with them, but I want to.
With a tremendous history of great success in the real estate market.
Because I don't know if he likes to do a whole segment between 11:30 and 12.
Who, John McMullen?
Yeah, I don't know if he does.
You can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group.
Hey Tony, what do you want to eat? I'm having the crab cake sandwich and sweet potato fries.
I'm not going to eat anything.
It's actually not heavy, so it's nice.
Sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
The inactives have been posted?
Yeah, 20 seconds ago, Gil said.
I got to look it up.
Should I give John a call or should he?
Yeah, give him if you want to give him a call and give him a heads up, but we don't need him until like 38. Let's pick him up midway through the segment. I don't want to come out of the. And Hunter, we're going to need to clip this Davio's audio so I can send it to him.
You have all the info, the location. I know where they are. I don't know the exact address.
Okay, sounds good. So what I'll do is
111 South 7th.
Joe.
Yeah, that's good.
Joe. Yes.
Do
you want me to, when you guys are talking about the Davio's thing, do you want me to mention a little bit about having my buddy had his bachelor party there? We had the big dinner there. How they set everything up in the back room. How nice it is.
Yeah, just keep it top shelf, not low shelf.
Of course.
Don't mention the strippers.
What's the address again at Davio's?
111 South 17th Street.
$4,000.
That's 17th and Sansom right there, right?
Yeah, it's right next to Del Frisco's.
No, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, we've been there before. It's beautiful.
Haven't been there in a while, though.
I really like their balcony seating.
I want to do a big wine event there, Tone. A big wine event with the broadcast. And
yeah.
They'll like that. That's what they want to push.
Davio.
Some exclusions apply. See storeorclose.com for details.
I'll give us the lead in on the.
30 seconds.
I'm going to give us the lead in tone portions of the full broadcast today, presented by our good friends at Davio's Northern Steakhouse, and then you jump in. All right.
Okay.
Oh no, I can't do that. We're doing Fly Eagles Fly. So open mic with Tony a little bit. So coming out of that, I'll work that in. which.
Game Day Countdown to Kickoff Show. Get to Tolman Joe's and register for your authentic Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey. Presented by Martin Law, the law firm for injured workers.
Uh-oh. On the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit him high,
low.
Hit him low, hit him everywhere you want to go.
You need more coffee, homie.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
On the way to Tollman Joe's.
Tollman Joe's.
Free parking.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagle.
Did we mention free parking at Tollman
yes.
Joe's? The great.
Jeepers.
Joe, how much is parking here?
Parking is free at Tollman Joe's. So that $50 that's in your pocket right now,
yeah,
that you're going to pay at the yard, put it right back in your pocket.
Come get some smoked wings. I had those last week. A nice cold brewski.
26 East Oregon Avenue, Tolman Joe's, home of the Countdown to Kickoff show. Every Eagles game, we are here. Tone, this is a great spot
to
watch
this place.
Eagles football.
I grew up down here. I used to come down here, go right behind the parking lot, make out with some women when they were kids, because we were all kids back then. Back when you could make out and not get mononucleosis.
I got the full South Philly morning.
You got it.
Penrose Diner.
Yep.
Tollman Joe's. The Eagles game. I mean, can you beat that?
No, you can't.
And can I just add one more thing? The food here is so much better than regular bar food.
Yeah,
absolutely. They have amazing stuff.
You getting the crab cake sandwich, Robin?
I did have the crab cake sandwich. Last time I had the most amazing fried artichokes, kind of like the way your mother makes them.
You're making me hungry, Robin. You know what I'm going to have to do? I haven't eaten anything.
We need to eat the babies.
They don't have babies on the menu here. Not yet, anyway. Meanwhile, speaking of eating.
Tone, let me do a shout out to one of our presenting partners of the Countdown to Kickoff show on Sundays, Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse, where coming up, Tone, in the back half of the season, when we look at games going on at the Link, the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Giants, we're going to engage Davio's, and Davio's is going to start to get engaged in some of the Countdown to Kickoff shows. But a special broadcast request from the owner of Davio's for BrunoNation to set up at Davio's and do a great broadcast leading into Patriots week, leading into that Patriots game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Incredible. And I've been to Davio's many, many times. Miss Robin and I love it. Go there. Everything is phenomenal. Luigi's friend had a bachelor party in the back room there, right?
Yeah, I was best man at the wedding. I put together the bachelor party dinner there. It was a 14-man show. They had the whole back room set up for us. It was amazing.
Great
It's amazingly expensive, but it's amazing.
That's all right. It's a great restaurant.
Everything's top shelf, Tone.
One of my favorite places, and hopefully I'm looking forward. We got to get back to Davio's.
If you can't get a window seat overlooking the city on the outside, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we got to go down to a man. He's not worried about eating right now. He already had the breakfast buffet.
Powdered eggs.
He's got everything ready, and now we have
I can't believe, by the way, I am still blown away that they eliminated the omelet bar.
And the carving station.
I can't believe that. I had no idea that happened. I just don't understand why you cut that out.
John McMullen is still probably angry, but he's got to focus on the game now. The breakfast argument is over. It's time to get down to the main course and the inactives. John, who do you have active and inactive today? I will be on the PUP list as soon as this broadcast is over, so don't count on me today.
Yeah, well, we're all day to day. I think week to week in the case of many of the Eagles' corners, and that's the issue, and you're really just centered on corner. We knew Ronald Darby was not going to play, already ruled out. Avonte Maddox ruled out. So Sidney Jones is a go. He will try to play. I think it'll be interesting how much he plays because, remember, the Eagles only really have 3 healthy corners, and one of them, Orlando Scandrick, was just here. They also brought up Ryan Lewis to give him an extra body, so I should say 4 healthy corners. But most of them don't have any experience. Craig James, who was the hero in Green Bay, has played 3 NFL snaps. So outside of Rasul Douglas, that over-under on the snaps Sidney Jones gets is going to be really, really important.
Totally agree. Now, who else is in that? Now, we know that one good thing is that Grugier Hill is going to be playing his first full game of the season, so that's got to help the linebacking core immensely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they divvy up the reps there because, Nigel's always going to be on the field, but Camus got his feet wet in Green Bay, so you would think his reps get amped up. And maybe that's how they handle some of the coverage responsibilities. Play a little bit more linebackers because you have Camus and Nate Gary, who are both coverage linebackers. So maybe Jim Schwartz throws a knuckleball that way. But most of the other inactives you already knew. Deshaun Jackson obviously already ruled out. Nate Sudfeld is now the third quarterback. Josh McCown's the backup. Nate Herbig's still not dressed at all as a rookie offensive lineman. Sharif Miller, rookie essentially in his redshirt year. So the Eagles have so many injuries that inactive list is kind of predictable at this point.
John, you mentioned the coverage of the linebackers and having 2 cover corners. You would think would be extremely helpful today with a guy like Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield who can catch, run, do a little bit of everything. But I want to shift to the wide receiver position. Alshon Jeffrey last week, to me, knocking some rust off. Nice to get a good win, but I think maybe a little out of game shape. How's he doing? How's the conditioning level? And you think he's going to, be 100% back to Alshon this week against the Jets?
Yeah, it's interesting. It is, as you point out, Colin, it is incremental as you go week to week. And was dealing with a calf injury, which is a little bit always concerning.
Yep. Very tedious.
In the fact that you could potentially aggravate it. That's what happened with Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert originally hurt his calf in preseason, and all of a sudden it cropped up again. So I do think the Eagles will continue to be at least somewhat cautious with Alshon, and maybe he's not at his usual workload until you get to a certain demarcation line as far as games and getting out of them healthy, because this team has a 3-game road trip coming up. So they have to be wary of that as well. And this is sort of a take care of business week before you go on the road to face Minnesota, Dallas, and Buffalo. 3 teams who think they have playoff potential. So that's difficult. You got to get over this hurdle as easily as possible to make sure you're ready for those games.
The great John McMullen, Eagle Insider, he's always ready. And so are we. We will see him tomorrow night over at the Landmark Americana for their big Monday night soiree, getting ready for that game. But we're ready for Sunday action. John, good to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow night over in New Jersey. We are ready for action, man. Ready.
All right, thanks, guys. 31-7 Eagles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't even get your 31-7. So you're thinking biblical beatdown, cover the number, but not go over the 43.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Jets to score points. You pointed out, Tony, they haven't scored at all, basically. 1 touchdown this season. Luke Falk had a field goal drive, his first drive coming in. It's really difficult with a third-string quarterback.
By the way, the Jets have been outscored by an average of 12.3 points per game if you're scoring at home. And if you are, congratulations. It is almost noon on a Sunday, for goodness sake. So 12.3 is the number. The Eagles are favored by 14. So they should be able to cover the 14 unless you're a degenerate gambler and you want to take the under. You want to take the points. A lot of people will be taking the points, John, and that's just for gambling purposes. If you have a suicide pool, you have to have the Eagles in there this week, do you not? Absolutely.
You would think so, unless you're holding them back for some reason. But this is as gimme gets in the NFL.
And by the way, everybody with a suicide pool has already used the Patriots. So the Patriots, week 1, you put the Patriots in your suicide pool, right? And then you have to figure out who you're going to use the rest of the year.
Yeah, suicide pools are always about strategy. So do you want to just take the easiest matchup each week, or do you want to save some of those good teams for later in the week? If you're later in the year, if you're bold, you try to use some strategy. If you're me, you just pick the easy game.
Exactly. John's getting ready for Hell in a Cell right now. He doesn't have time for any of this other stuff. Right, John?
That is correct.
John McMullen, we'll see him tomorrow. John, thank you. Have fun today. The great John McMullen, Eagle Insider, and a man who always has his fingers on the grasp of everything that matters in the National Football League, especially here at Eagle Land. Now, do you play suicide pools?
I do not.
Colin,
I'm
Luigi,
not involved in it. I'm too close to hopefully getting back with the team. I can't.
Yeah, I'm still alive in mine. I'm
can't
doing
do
well.
that.
Now, who are you using today?
Well, I took Detroit over the Eagles when they were here. I stood behind my pick, called the final score. That was a winner.
That was a clickbait pick, and you ended
That
up
was
being
a
right.
clickbait pick. But, you look at right now, I mean, there's so many upsets we've seen so far. Obviously, the Patriots are going to win. They're playing all these bad teams, and they're the best team in football. The Chiefs are always a good play. But you've used up the Chiefs and you've used up the Patriots for most suicide pools, right? Because you can't use them more than once in a season, right?
You want to try to avoid getting out as early as possible. So you're right. You do use those better teams. Again, Patriots first week, you always roll them out there. They're gonna win it. The Chiefs, same thing. The scary teams, you have to be careful. Like the Chargers this week playing Denver. You think the Chargers on paper are going to win this game at home, but Denver coming in 0-5 and a must-win kind of a game.
And Denver's a good team.
They are.
They should be 2-2, and Joe Flacco should be the story about, wow, this guy, he's still got a little left in the tank, but field goal this, field goal that. The refs give the Bears the game. The Broncos are the best winless team in the NFL for sure.
Right, and when you look at a suicide pool and you look at a team like Denver's a 6.5-point dog,
yeah.
You think the Chargers are at home, they're going to win this game easily. You get trapped into taking the Chargers, and poof, Joe Flacco takes you out.
Speaking of the Broncos, I did see a little something online about possibly Von Miller being on the trade block.
Yeah, that's clickbait right there.
That is clickbait.
No, but if you think about it, new coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a defensive coach.
Yes, he's a defensive coach. Why would he get rid of his only Hall of Fame caliber player still on the
Why would
roster?
John Gruden get rid of Khalil Mack? Anything happens.
I'm just saying, they need to spend money next year.
Sure.
They're in win now mode. I think he's a huge part of the win now mode. He's a top 10 talent in the NFL. I'm not saying he's not, but sometimes it's just something to keep an eye on. I
totally agree with you.
I don't think it's the right thing to do, but it's something to keep an eye on if they continue to lose.
I agree with that. I do agree with it. It's something that you want to monitor as the season goes along and gets close to the trade deadline. Another name that you started to hear, but one that makes a lot of sense too, is A.J. Green in Cincinnati. There's a guy who could be moved as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
And then we're going to watch the Vikings today as well because, I like the Vikings today against the Giants. The Giants are at home, and, Daniel Jones is good, but he gave a couple of interceptions up last week. The Vikings are going to have to run the football. And you watch. This is the week that Kirk Cousins has a good game. He gets the running game going. Right? And now everybody's so down on Kirk Cousins, and justifiably so for the most part. But today, everybody figures. But you know why they don't figure it? Because the Vikings are favored by 5.5 points at the Giants, who are at home. So to me, that's telling me I like the Vikings today, and I think this is a game and bad news for the Eagles is because the Eagles go to Minnesota next week. So if they get their act together today, going into Minnesota becomes even more difficult, which makes this game against the Jets even much more absolute guaranteed must-win territory.
Well, Minnesota's defense has played well all season long, but the intangible has been Dalvin Cook, who's been virtually unstoppable.
Exactly, and that's what I expect to see up at the Meadowlands in one of the games today. Everybody's jumping on Daniel Jones, and I love the kid. But I'm telling you, watch the Vikings today.
He'll have a real test today. They have a legitimate pass rush there with Griffin and Hunter, and they have Barr. They have a lot of guys that can get after the quarterback and some nice pieces in the back end. So he'll be tested today without Saquon Barkley. Maybe another big game out of Wayne Gallman.
And they got guys who are disgruntled there, too, but he's going to play today. Speaking of this disgruntled guy, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, he got fined $200,000 this week.
Yeah, he's not happy, but he's going to play today. You got to pay to play. You got to play to get paid, too.
You do, week to week. Nothing's guaranteed.
In the National Football League. Coming back, Philly Godfather's going to join us. We're going to put the final bows on this baby, and we're going to get you ready for Merrill Reese and the Eagles pregame show coming up at noon. Right here live at 97.3 ESPN. Tollman Joe's on twitch.tv, BrunoNation Live. Stick around for the big finish.
Hour number 2 of the Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff
show
is sponsored by
the
Philadelphia Federal Credit Union.
This is
Philly's
nuts and
home
bolts.
is
We even
our
got a
home.
couple of
Go
eat
to
the babies in. You got to keep the
PFCU.com.
you got to keep
This
the
is
I love
Mays
drops.
and
I'm a big drop
Aton
guy.
with
Hunter, I'm going to need that
Aton Shander
clip,
on
the Davio's
97.3
clip.
ESPN
Yeah, I got it marked down on what time it was and everything.
ESPN
and you can
mobile app.
You
Coming
can
up,
pick
a
it up
Monday edition of the Mays and
from the
Eight
tail
Show.
end of the
return
Eagles.
Of Harry Mays will look if the Eagles
The
cover that
return
line
with
against
the
Jets
Eagle fight
and how
song and
Josh
stuff. You
did
can
in
pick
his
it up there
six-pack of picks.
as we roll into it, so I can give them a real radio audio experience when I send it to them. All right, thank you.
Get to the absolutely. So I'm going to call the Godfather. We're going to come back with
Yeah, music right out of the break for the Godfather, so we can get him in.
Okay, and that'll take you to about. You'll have about 7 minutes with him total.
Yeah, when I don't know how long Tony will stay with him, but it'll be 7 minutes left when we come back. All right,
we're good. The Godfather will give us action. Godfather.
Tony Bruno, you are being ripped on Twitter. Mikey misses bus passes saying, I don't know what has jumped the Mount Rushmore loving shark more. The we need to eat the babies drop or the daily air drumming on Twitch.
Well, the air drumming is there.
Yeah, that's
By the way, speaking of air, you see Ginger Baker died today.
Who?
Ginger Baker, one of the greatest drummers of all time. He was
I
a
did
drummer
see
for
that.
Cream. Love Ginger Baker.
Is Ginger Baker the name or no? That's not the
No,
real
Ginger
name.
Baker is the name of the drummer for
Is that-
Cream.
What a name.
Is that his real name or no?
Yes, I don't know, but that's to me.
That's a great name.
He's one of the greatest drummers of all time.
From scrap metal to waste hauling, the only name is Giordano.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a
have the
tremendous
Godfather
history
on
of great
hold.
success
You are-
in the real estate market, meet Kristen Thompson.
You
A
are
proud
looking
graduate of
live.
Villanova, Kristen has been in
Ginger
the
was
real
his
estate business
nickname.
for 20
Ginger
years.
Baker, Robin.
Peter Edward, quote unquote, Ginger
You
Baker.
can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group.
Joe, you there?
I'm here.
I talked to Josh. He said that that's on him with something in the clock. So next time that will not happen at the top of the hour when you guys start.
Tirelessly on your behalf
Oh, when we
while
came
ensuring
on?
the sale
Yeah,
or
I
the
just had to
purchase is the
adjust on the
easiest
fly
part of
and
the
pot
process.
down all the 97.3 ESPN national.
Why
feeds
should you
there,
buy
but,
a 99
that was
cent
me just
Napa
trying
bag?
things out on my
Because
own.
it's no ordinary
Okay, no worries.
bag. It can save you 20% on 3 or more items you can fit inside. Some call that
1
magic.
minute.
Others say it's the eighth
He
wonder
was
of the
named
world.
Ginger
But
because of his
whatever it is,
shocking
it's the
flaming
best way
red
to save you
hair.
20%
I know.
on brakes,
I'm a
filters,
huge Ginger
wipers, and
Baker
more.
fan. I'm going to have to do a
Quality
tribute to
parts,
Ginger on the
helpful
show tomorrow
people. That's
and just
Napa
play
know-how.
drums the entire show. Get my stick. I have drumsticks and I play the whole show. I play drums on the show, even
Oh, nice.
air drums.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of
And then on Friday night, we had a disco night, and everybody
We
said
had
that
the
he
disco
needed
ball going. I was playing all these disco songs Friday night. My show on Twitch.
Great idea.
The show when you went,
Maybe to
did you
take
go to?
cash out of your home
Oh, when
with a quick
Harry and
loans
them came to
30-year
you
fixed
guys,
rate
that was
mortgage.
awesome.
The rate
Yeah.
today on our 30-year
That was in our
fixed
You have to
basement
come
in a
down
wine
to
cellar.
the wine cellar sometime.
I would love to.
Absolutely, man. That's the heart of South Philly.
I would love to.
Is that the Davio's Wine Center? No, no.
No, it's
the
the Bruno Wine
It's the
Cellar.
Bruno Wine
I'm
Cellar.
sure there are.
That show was great. I had multiple people text me about
Game
it.
Day
Oh.
Countdown to Kickoff Show. Get to Tolman Joe's and register for
Is the-
your
you have the
authentic
Godfather?
Tony Bruno Eagles game jersey.
Yeah, he's on hold.
Presented
All
by
right, bring
Mark
that
Coming
house
Law,
back with his
the law
music,
firm
Connor.
for
Got that
injured
house?
workers.
All right, it's okay.
Get money, yo.
Yo.
Nah, man. What's up, brother? What we got, Bob? Give you a call back in a little bit.
East Coast, Philadelphia, born and raised. In the streets is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. When against my dad's
Yeah.
wishes when I dropped out of school. But mom didn't raise no fool.
Man,
nor a rookie.
I know
My
I'm
life
ready
took a change
for
when I
football.
found my first
Whenever I
bookie.
hear
I'm
this
ditching
theme
the
song
streets
start,
full of drug studs and thieves
Thursday
trying to
night,
get
we
this
both
paper.
locked it
And a
in
cheesesteak from Steve's.
and made
Next
the
thing I
entire
know, I'm
country
one of the
better
wise
again.
guys.
We
It's
made
like
gambling
larceny.
great
And we
again.
exchanging high
The
fives.
Philly Godfather
I don't
joins
care
us
who
now.
wins,
He
pick the
did call
number
us
is the
back,
challenge, and
as
you
he
the
said
one
he
that
would in the
goes
open.
for extra mathematics.
The Philly Godfather putting the finishing touches on a big Week 5 Sunday full of action. How are you, man?
We got heavy action coming off that 4-0 Thursday night. We killed them last night at the Oceans in Atlantic City. We had a moneyline parlay on the Detroit Red Wings and the Oregon State team, and we killed them yesterday down in AC, man. We had a great time.
That's what it's all about, man. It's about going down to AC and slaying them, baby. All right, we got the Eagles to 14. I know a lot of people like the dog in this situation, not to win outright, but to cover the number. How are you seeing this Eagle game? Is it too many points? There's a look ahead. You know, there's all these different factions in there. We know the Jets can't score, but what about the covering the number part?
Well, usually the bad weather, you know, if it's a little windy outside, got some rain, it usually helps the underdog. But in this case, with the Eagles having the worst pass defense in football, giving up 323 yards per game, it might help the Eagles out. And to be honest, if they can't outperform the market on this bad team, I don't know how deep they're going to go into the playoffs. I lay 13 on the Eagles, and the reason is for the Jets to stay within this number, they're going to have to be able to run the ball. And Le'Veon Bell has 56 carries for 163 yards this year. He's averaging just 2.9 yards per attempt. and we all know how good this Eagles defense is against the run. I lay 13. At 14, I mean, you might see a backdoor, but if we can outperform the market today, I don't know how good this team is, Tony.
No, I agree with you, and everybody expects it, and they're supposed to beat this team because the Jets are on their third quarterback. He didn't get any practice reps this year. I mean, all the stats, all the numbers are saying the Eagles should blow this team out today. And maybe they will, and if they do, then they can rest guys in the fourth quarter, and get Josh McCown in there, and then get ready for Minnesota.
Yeah, they might take their foot off the pedal a little bit in the fourth quarter if they're up big, and you might see a backdoor, like you said, big game next week against a tough team. But they got to kill this team. They got to make a statement today, and I think they will. Minus 13. I mean, I laid it for some baby peanuts, nothing big, but I like them a little bit.
Did you say baby peanuts?
That needs to be a drop. That needs to be.
Baby peanuts. I've never heard that one before. So eating babies has become popular.
Is that like 1 unit?
I don't know. How many units is that?
That's like a half a unit.
What about now? The over set's 43. That sounds like it's too high for me. I'm going to go under in this game today, too. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. The weather, I mean, Eagles stopping the run. Jets can't score. Third-string quarterback. I like it. I like it.
All right, who else screams at you today, Philly Godfather?
Love Tampa Bay, but moneyline parlay, Tampa Bay and the Broncos. Bet those two teams. Monday night, I like San Fran and the under. And that's about it. I like the Packers a little bit.
Why do you like the Broncos so much, heading west?
Well, the Broncos, Chargers haven't played a top 10 defense all year. I mean, in the top 10. And the Broncos have played, out of their 4 opponents, 3 of them have been top 10 in defensive efficiency. And they played the Jags, and if you take away the Chiefs game off the Jags schedule, they sneak right into the top 10 in defensive efficiency as well. So I think Denver's going to be able to move the ball on them, and I think they're going to win the game outright. I mean, it's a hungry team. It's a starving team. It's a great spot. Line opened up 7. I think it's down to 4.5 in some spots, so there's some real sharp money on the Broncos today.
No squares, but Luigi now is shaking his head, and people are saying, betting on hockey on a Saturday night, that's some degenerate action right there. But hockey pays, you know what I'm saying? Billy Godfather doesn't stay away from hockey.
Nah, wherever there's an edge, we'll fire. It was a plus 220 dog, and we tied it in with the plus 190 on Oregon State, and we cashed the 7.5 to 1 ticket. It was a great night.
Damn right. So, Luigi, how dare you question hockey as a betting implement?
I didn't. I'm with him, man. You find an edge, you fire.
You fire, baby. You know what we need to do?
We need to eat the babies.
Exactly. The baby bits.
What was the over-under? What was the over-under?
On how many times I would play that today?
That's 4.5 at mine.
Whatever it is, take the over and forget it. That's all. That's all you got to do. You don't need anything for that.
Forget it. The Philly Godfather, lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Philly Godfather, baby. All right, man. Have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow, maybe. The great Philly Godfather at phillygodfather.com.
The baby peanuts.
The baby peanuts.
We got to get that as a drop.
You have to eat the baby peanuts.
A half a unit.
A half a unit.
I'm all about straight cashews, Tony.
Well,
straight
it is
cash,
all about
homie.
straight cash.
Straight
you know
cash, homie.
I got that in here somewhere. I got to find my a little slow on the draw today.
We were talking earlier, Tony. I love the Bucks outright today, too, in New Orleans.
What are our picks? Tell them we got to make our picks or give our score.
Like I said, I like the under, and I'm going to lay the Eagles. They got to win this game by 2 touchdowns at least. I'm not worried about backdoor covers or any of that stuff. I think they win this game by at least 20 points, so you don't have to worry. Although there would be a backdoor cover situation, but
I got 30-10, so I'm right on your number. 20 points.
20-point win today.
30-10,
and the under.
30 seconds.
Something to keep an eye on today.
Who
a
do you
guy
like?
who can fly, Robbie Anderson. Maybe take a shot with him down the field. Eagles tried to trade for him one point in time. He's a Temple guy.
I love that play for fantasy, brother. I love that.
Robbie down the field, maybe a
seconds.
play. The corners are,
34-7, Tone.
All right, we got to go 34-7, so everybody's got him covered here.
15.
We're covered. We want to thank everybody here at Tollman Joe's. Another great Sunday.
10.
Colin Thompson,
9,
Tony Bruno,
8,
Nick, Miss Robin,
7,
Luigi, Krause, the whole
6,
gang. We'll
5,
see you tomorrow night at
4,
Landmark Americana.
3,
Stay tuned
2,
for the Eagles post-game
1.
show coming up next.
Eagles Game Day Countdown to Kickoff Show
Good
with Tony
show,
Bruno, a Jacob Media Sports presentation.
It's the Monday Night Countdown
Okay,
to
Hunter,
Kickoff.
thank you, brother.
This and every
Absolutely.
Monday night with Mr. Monday
Talk to you
Night,
about-
Tony Bruno.
Mr. Monday Night is here.
And Eitan Shander from
That's
6
totally
to 8
okay.
p.m. live from the Landmark
See you guys.
Americana
See you
in
next week.
Glassboro.
I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it.
On 9-
No, you. Oh no, he. Did he talk to me or?
Yeah, he said he told me.
Yeah. That didn't come from me. That came from him.
Yeah. This is my song right here, you know. Don't have no lies and keep your hands to yourself. The Georgia Satellites. How great is the Philly Godfather, though? It's good.
I love the beginning.
The baby peanuts.
I'll call you right back. I'll call you right back. I love that. That is so good. I'll call you right back. Clean show.
Guy fires and he posts his tickets, man, win or lose.
Oh yeah.
He fucking posts the losers as much as he posts the winners.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what makes it great. You got to. You're vulnerable in this world.
He fucking lives right around the corner from the landmark. I keep telling you, you gotta get him in there. Come out, man. You gotta come out.
You gotta pay homage.